Chapter 671. Qin Feng had never experienced this kind of situation before. In the age of chaos, divination techniques had long been lost and became a fantasy. Killing and robbing people would at most be pursued by some tracking technique. Qin Feng had countless ways to deal with this kind of pursuit. Not good, although I erased all traces after killing Lin Guangdong and Jiang Hanguang, and deliberately created an alibi. The 5 demons are a big flaw. With the monitoring Hall's methods, they should be able to detect the 5 demons. Perhaps they have already sent people to capture them. Thinking to himself, Qin Feng's face turned serious. In the next moment, his hand seals changed. At this time, the 5 demon kings of the 5 poison village had a thought, and a black shadow emerged from their bodies. Heart demon body. Master has ordered you to quickly go to the demon temple to find a backer. The matter of the Lesser Tsang Mountain has been exposed. A sage from the Xingqian school is here. What? The scarlet-eyed scorpion, frost spider, and Li Hua snake's faces changed. Don't worry, follow my plan. Do this. After a long while, the 5 demons laughed. Master, what a brilliant plan! 5 towering demonic auras emerged from the 5 poison village. An hour later, they arrived at the depths of a mountain filled with demonic aura. Thousand Cavern Mountain. This was the Golden Light Demon Country. This was a country formed by countless demons and other races. Hundreds of thousands of demonic auras covered the sky and soared into the sky. It was abnormally terrifying. The surrounding villages, including the 5 poison village, belonged to the Golden Light Demon Country. The 5 demons looked at each other, and a trace of fear flashed in their cold eyes. The ruler of the Golden Light Demon Country was a golden light glazed 3 realms butterfly, known as the Golden Light Demon Lord. Its power was far beyond the 5 demons. This demon was the ruler of this area. It had a great ability. After protecting their identities, the 5 demons immediately passed through layers of checkpoints and entered the depths of the Golden Light Demon Country. In the Golden Light Demon Country, there were countless powerful demons in the majestic Cloud Palace, emitting a strong demonic aura. This demon country looked like a giant insect nest. They were surrounded by an extremely rare spirit vine, the golden silk glazed vine. This spirit vine grew on an ancient tree called the 3 Realms Poria tree. Countless golden spirit lights were swirling around the spirit vine. The 3 Realms Poria tree was an ancient tree that was a divine tree for spirit insects and demonic insects. Countless poisonous insects in human form were cultivating beside the golden silk 3 Realms Poria trees. They breathed in the unique wood fragrance emitted by the divine trees. Their monster cores became more and more lively, and their blood boiled. The 5 demons were also excited. Cultivating under the sacred wood would bring unparalleled benefits to the experts of the insect clan who had become demons. Scarlet-eyed scorpion, frost spider, fleeting fire snake, ironback centipede, heaven-swallowing toad. Aren't you 5 guys stationed at 5 poison stronghold under the king's orders? Are the 5 of you tired of living? How dare you leave your post without permission? At the side, the experts of the Golden Light 3 Realms glazed butterfly clan stared coldly at the 5 demons. Countless golden demonic chi puffed and puffed. It was as mighty as hell, emitting an unfriendly aura. The Golden Light 3 Realms glass butterfly was born with an extremely powerful bloodline. It was an ancient spirit insect. Moreover, it was a rare spatial spirit insect. This clan was extremely powerful. It was one of the strongest clans under the 12 strong clans in the Demon Temple. It was also known as one of the Insect King clans. There were countless experts in the clan. The 5 demons smiled and said, "My lords, the 5 of us are the same. That Xingqian school has gone too far. They came to seek revenge, and we can't beat them? Scarlet-eyed scorpion, come up here. I want to know how they will seek revenge. The 5 of you know my temper. If you ruin the reputation of the Golden Light Mountain and the Golden Light Demonic Country, you know the consequences." At this moment, a deep voice came from the depths of the ancient demonic palace. The 5 demons looked respectful and quickly followed the path into the deepest part of the demonic palace. In the main hall, the golden light demonic king was wearing a golden feather robe. He was extremely handsome and looked like a noble. He was lying lazily on the throne. His eyes were arrogant, and there was a domineering aura that looked down on the world. There were many powerful figures of the demonic clan on both sides, emitting a terrifying aura. Scarlet-eyed Scorpion lowered his head, but a voice came from the depths of his heart. "This is the monarch of the Golden Light demonic country, the Golden Light demonic king?" Scarlet-eyed Scorpion lowered his head and asked. "My lord, this is the Golden Light demonic king. There are 6 major demonic countries in the Golden Crow battlefield. They are the Golden Light demonic country, the Radiant demonic country, the Black Wind demonic country, the Golden Ridge demonic country, and the Dong Hua demonic country. The 6 major demonic countries have 6 demonic lords. The strongest is the Dong Hua demonic country, where the Golden Crow Fire Clan is from. The Golden Light demonic country mainly uses the Golden Light Tri-Realm Glass Butterfly. The Black Wind demonic country mainly uses the Dark Lightning Blackwind Rock. The Radiant demonic country mainly uses the Radiant Fire Phoenix, and the Golden Ridge demonic country mainly uses the God Devourer Golden Wasps. These 6 clans are all mutants, especially the Golden Crow Fire Clan, which is a direct descendant of the ancient demonic god. The Sun Scripture is a legendary cultivation technique. The main opponents of the 6 major demonic countries are the Shaoyang Stronghold and the 9 Great Mountain Stronghold. Generally speaking, the 6 major demonic countries have the upper hand. This Golden Light demonic lord is very strong. It doesn't matter. The stronger he is, the better. If it wasn't for this, he probably wouldn't have the ability to take the blame for me. The demonic heart sneered. Scarlet-eyed Scorpion was secretly shocked, but he still cried and complained to the Golden Light demonic king. "My king, you have to uphold justice for me. A few days ago, we massacred the Bronze Hill stronghold's Lesser Tsang Mountain and killed someone called a divine general. Now we are being chased by the experts of Xingqian School and have nowhere to go." "You massacred the Lesser Tsang Mountain?" Once this was said, many of the demonic clan experts who were watching coldly were stunned. "You massacred the Lesser Tsang Mountain? Is this true?" The Golden Light demonic lord stood up. Lihua Snake smiled charmingly. "It's absolutely true, my king." "Good." The Golden Light demonic lord slammed the table and stood up. A surge of demonic chi swept out with his movement. The ancient demonic palace was filled with a layer of extremely terrifying aura. "You 5 pieces of trash have finally done something big this time. Our Golden Light demonic kingdom has been here for thousands of years. Those guys have always said that our Golden Light demonic kingdom is cowardly and only wants to protect ourselves. We don't dare to make a move on Jiuzhai. This time, you have made our entire Golden Light demonic kingdom proud and elated. I want to see who dares to gossip this time." The Golden Light demonic lord was in high spirits and swept his domineering gaze across the 5 demonic lords. "Don't worry. As for the Xingqian School's pursuit with me here, who dares to pursue you? Return to the 5 Poison Stronghold immediately. With me here, you don't have to be afraid. Later, I will send the experts of the demonic clan. It just so happens that I want to use you to set up a trap. If they don't come looking for you, it's fine. If they dare to come looking for you, I will give them an unforgettable memory." A trace of fierceness flashed in the Golden Light demonic lord's eyes. Golden light surged in his eyes. The entire demonic palace seemed to be breaking apart in the golden light. At this time, Su Qin, Wei Zhongming, Song Yu, Zhu Yuan True Lord, and the others had already appeared in the 5 Poison Stronghold. After a while, a black-robed disciple said, "The 5 demonic lords just left. They seem to have gone to the Golden Light demonic kingdom." "Golden Light demonic kingdom, Golden Light demonic lord. Wei Zhongming narrowed his eyes. Fang Zhongyuan said, "Teacher, should we continue to pursue?" "No, let's go to the Hidden Wave Cave." Chapter 672. Hidden Wave Cave, Hidden Dragon Pool. Qin Feng was refining the true spirit pearl. The Crouching Dragon Pool was a place where the heaven and earth profound Yin gathered. The fact that an innate true dragon was born in this place was more than enough to prove the profundity of this place. Countless Yin veins and poison veins intertwined, forming the embryonic form of an innate dragon nest. Blackwater mystical snakes were similar to Yin dragons in nature. The dark water serpent was also fond of the extreme negative energy, and had the same venom. Cultivating in this place, the dark water serpent's cultivation speed was beyond imagination. The true spirit bead was refined at a speed beyond Qin Feng's imagination. The spirit creature power contained in dark water's spirit dan was purified by the true spirit bead inch by inch. The pure and original spirit creature power drilled into Qin Feng's skin like snakes, purifying dark water serpent's body and helping him complete the important step of breaking into the pre-world level. Although the Xiantian black snake was not as strong as the first-generation primordial black snake, its potential was undoubtedly comparable to that of a demon god. A dense law of dark water grew within the Yao core, flowing slowly. It was heavy, and within the strange coldness, there was an unfathomable power that could corrode the world. Pucci, Pucci. On the surface of his body, his bloodline returned to its ancestral state, and countless old snake scales fell off like peeling beans. These scales that had been peeled off from Qin Feng's body were extremely sturdy, like the 100-tempered godly iron. The innate snake scales were pitch black, and when they coiled up, the innate snake's body looked like an innate Tao diagram. The ripples emanating from it caused the black water to ripple as if it was transforming along with the snake's body. The length of Qin Feng's snake body had grown from over 10 zhang to 36 zhang long. Inside his body, the true spirit bead and the black water beast core were fusing at a visible rate. The black qi surrounding the black water beast core was forcibly purified, and the entire beast core was releasing an extremely deep dark vibration. Qin Feng's true soul was able to comprehend the law of black water. In the depths of his true soul, an illusory divine seat was formed. This was the seat of the Blackwater Yao God. It was formed purely from the law of dark water. On the other side was a transparent and formless God seat. This was the void devil God seat. It was formed purely from the void laws. When Qin Feng condensed the dark water law, he clearly sensed thousands of connected origins coming from the void. This was a battle of the great Tao. These people also cultivated the water elemental laws. Some of them were heading towards the black water elemental divine seat, while others were heading towards the sea elemental divine seat or the water elemental divine seat. These people and Qin Feng formed a competition of the great Tao. If anyone took the deity position first, it meant that the others would have to stop. The battle for the great Tao would not end until one of them died. Bastard! In the East Sea, in the vast dragon palace, the moment Qin Feng completely refined the true spirit pearl, the dark eyes of a dragon son who was enjoying himself in a private room flickered with extreme anger. Damned evil creature, how hateful! Crack! The jade cup in his hand instantly turned into fine powder. 13th brother, what's wrong with you? Many dragon sons looked at the dragon son whose aura was fluctuating in surprise. On the throne, a dragon son with a purple gold crown on his head and a dignified aura cast his gaze over. Damn it! So strong! How could such a terrifying figure appear in this generation of the dragon clan? The son of Blackwater's expression changed slightly. The son of Blackwater was secretly depressed. He originally thought that after possessing the body of the dragon son of the East Sea, he would be able to dominate the East Sea with his newly fused innate dragon snake body and then seize the East Sea Dragon King's position. He didn't expect the young expert of this generation of the East Sea Dragon clan to be so strong that even he, the second son of Blackwater, was no match for him. Big brother, please forgive me. It's just that Ao Chow felt something and was happy. As he spoke, the son of Blackwater hugged a mermaid girl. He was vexed. I heard that the dragon god's position in the dragon world is about to be born. It's a pity that although I've reached the holy dragon realm, I don't dare to reveal it, let alone enter it. Otherwise, it would be wonderful if I could seize the dragon god's position. It's a pity that half of the true spirit pearl was taken away by that little brat. Otherwise, I would have most likely become the black water demon god in this life. Damned little brat, when I find you in the future, I'll pull out your tendons and skin you alive. Resentment in his heart, Ao Chow repeatedly raised his cup to apologize. Rumble. Water surged and a black snake that was dozens of feet long soared into the sky from the dragon crouching pool. The power of the innate bloodline circulated. Dark clouds covered the sky and thunder surged. Within 10,000 miles, heavy rain fell. What a rich innate bloodline! On the barren mountain, Su Qin, Wei Zhongming, Song Yu, and the others who had been waiting for a few days looked at the majestic innate black snake. Innate bloodline, the body of the third-generation black water mystical snake. I heard that the position of the black water demon god has yet to be taken. If this person wants to, he has a great chance of becoming the black water demon god. Song Yu's eyes were filled with surprise. This was the first time he saw Qin Feng, but he still felt a kind of shock and envy. The innate body was the dream of countless cultivators who had attained the Tao through other means. Going back and forth between the innate realm and advancing to the innate realm was almost the same as walking the path of the demon god. He had already left most of the competitors behind. I've always heard that this person is extremely talented, not inferior to Shinsu, Panwu, Jian Zongyuan, and the others. I didn't expect him to have such a trump card. The innate snake god has unlimited potential. It's enviable. He's a monster. I heard that this cave master Qin Feng is a famous alchemist, a grade 4 alchemist, the future medicine emperor. The innate mystic snake body is already ahead of many true disciples. I heard that a few days ago, the sex experts killed a baby Kuan fish true spirit. Another true disciple, Yi Ding, also took the opportunity to cultivate the body of the third-generation innate Kuan fish. His strength improved greatly, and he became a martial Dao expert in one step. Hearing the whispers of the disciples behind them, Su Qin and Wei Zhongming looked at each other, their eyes heavy. If this true disciple in front of them really killed Lin Guangdong and Jiang Hanguang, then it would be really difficult to deal with. If such an outstanding true disciple died in their hands for no reason, even the powerful Xingqian school couldn't afford to lose it. Moreover, the two of them also knew that Qin Feng was the reincarnation of the current Star Lord. Such an existence wasn't so easy to capture. If he escaped, it would be a disaster for Xingqian school. Brother Wei, this matter must be handled with caution. Su Qin transmitted his voice. Wei Zhongming understood what Su Qin meant. In these years, many people had been moving around, and it seemed that they wanted to make an ironclad case and kill this cave master Qin Feng. Even many people from the inspection hall were involved. Wei Zhongming said solemnly. Brother Su, don't worry. This old man won't jump to conclusions. You and I both know the current situation of Xingqian school, and we need these disciples to grow up. However, if it was really him, then this old man can only... A trace of coldness flashed, like thunder. At this time, a black light flashed on the body of the crouching dragon mountain black snake, and a slightly feminine and handsome young man in a black robe slowly walked out. His eyes swept over the people from the inspection hall, and a trace of a smile flashed in his eyes. I've made you wait for a long time. Your arrival brings light to my humble abode. Chapter 673. Cave Master Qin Feng, you're such a big shot. A sarcastic voice sounded. Qin Feng glanced over. Behind the few powerful characters, there was a black-robed young man who was staring at him with hostility. He was about 25 or 26 years old. He had a high nose bridge and malicious eyes. He stared at Qin Feng and sneered. "Who is this?" Qin Feng's eyes flashed and fell on Fang Zhongyuan. This group of people had a strong aura and the leader was even a sage. However, he only knew Fang Zhongyuan. At this time, Fang Zhongyuan didn't seem to have a high status among this group of people. "Oh, Cave Master Qin, let me introduce you." Fang Zhongyuan walked up and smiled. "This is the chief of Shaoyang village, Jiyuan Perfected Lord." Qin Feng's gaze followed his finger and landed on a figure that resembled a divinity. He stood in the air like a gigantic sun. Qin Feng could faintly feel 9 streams of extremely powerful origin qi surging. They were like 9 rivers of stars, abnormally tyrannical. Qin Feng had heard of Jiyuan Perfected Lord before. This was the chief of Shaoyang village. Although they were both chiefs, the chief of Shaoyang village was not comparable to the chief of Peach Blossom village. There were 9 marshals under the eastern Changle Wuji demon subduing palace. The Jiyuan Perfected Lord in front of him was one of them. Marshals were the strongest people below the 4 heavenly kings. Each of them controlled the life and death of countless countries. This could be considered Qin Feng's direct superior. After speaking, Fang Zhongyuan pointed to another Taoist who was wearing a Tai Chi yin-yang robe and said, "This is Lord Su Qin, the 4th-class inspector of the supervisory hall, the head of the secret service." Looking at this kind and gentle Taoist, Qin Feng had such an image in his mind. The supervisory hall was originally the secret service of Xingqian school. Although this secret service had never deliberately created a terrifying atmosphere to frame anyone. However, since ancient times, many big shots of Xingqian school, including the Grand Elders, had fallen into the hands of the supervisory hall. Even the sect master was dragged down. His power was monstrous. This group was the closest to heavenly rules and heavenly rules. He could even use the power of the heavenly Tao. The monitoring hall was split into 9 grades, with the 9th grade being the lowest. They were scattered across the myriad star domain to monitor the various countries. As a 4th grade inspector, his power could be said to be monstrous. If he went berserk, even the Grand Elder would have to be wary of him. This is 5th grade curtain-lifting General Tsang Yu of the Everlasting Joy Everlasting Demon Vanquishing Sky Palace. Qin Feng's gaze fell on a young man. He wore a killing green armor. His eyes were cold and his killing intent formed a dense cold wind. Dongfang Changle, Wuji Demon Vanquishing Heaven's Imperial Palace, curtain-lifting general. Among the 9 ranks of generals, he was considered an official close to the emperor. The prime minister was a 9th-ranked official, not to mention a general who served the heavenly king. This kind of expert who could come into contact with the heavenly king at all times was enough to show his status. They were all big shots. This was a quasi-sage. However, Qin Feng could see that these sages did not look down on him. "This is the 5th grade inspector of the monitoring hall, Wei Zhangming, Marshal Uncle Wei. As for this one?" Fang Zhongyuan pointed at the black-robed young man and said, "This is the 7th grade inspector of the monitoring hall, Hua Zishu." Qin Feng nodded. These people's backgrounds were within Qin Feng's expectations, but he did not expect such a grand lineup. After a round of greetings, everyone was led into the Hall of Brotherhood and went straight to the main topic. "According to what I know, the monitoring hall has a high position and power. The people of the monitoring hall have always been very busy. May I know the reason for your visit?" "Qin Feng, don't you know why we're here? You don't have to pretend to be crazy. No matter how you hide in front of the monitoring hall, you'll eventually reveal your fox tail." Hua Zishu was not polite at all. He had an undisguised hostility towards Qin Feng. "What do I know? Junior brother Hua, don't slander me. I know that the monitoring hall has a high position and even the grand elders are afraid of you. However, you can't accuse a deer as a horse and slander me." Qin Feng looked coldly at Hua Zishu. When these words came out, Nine Origin True Lord and Song Yu's eyes flickered with a trace of dissatisfaction. The monitoring hall had too much power. Hua Zishu's face darkened. He slammed the table and stood up. "Qin Feng, at this time, you still want to distort the truth and create trouble?" Looking at the cold faces of Su Qin, Wei Zhongming, and the others, Qin Feng sneered in his heart. He stood up with a bang and retorted. "I'm creating trouble, and you want to bite back and distort the truth? The moment you come, you put such a big hat on my direct disciple. Even direct disciples are like meat on the chopping board in your eyes. This shows how powerful you are. However, Qin Feng is not someone to be trifled with. I'm still a direct disciple of Xingqian school. I don't think the martial uncles of the 28 Peaks will allow a direct disciple to be looked down upon and slandered like this." When these words came out, Su Qin and Wei Zhongming, who wanted to watch the show, suddenly changed their expressions. In Xingqian school, the monitoring hall was independent and had the backing of the heavens. They were above worldly affairs and could even take down direct disciples, grand elders, and even the sect master. It seemed like they had a monopoly. But in reality, it was because of this that the 28 Peaks had a natural hostility and vigilance towards the monitoring hall and the heavens punishment hall. Qin Feng was a direct disciple and was part of the 28 Peaks. If something went wrong, it would cause a huge commotion. Hua Zishu's face darkened. This was a sensitive issue. Even with his identity as a disciple of the monitoring hall, he did not dare to speak casually. But the more he acted like this, the more he hated Qin Feng to the core. As a disciple of the monitoring hall, even a normal direct disciple would have to give him some face. He had never been like Qin Feng, going against him face to face. "Do you really think you can do whatever you want just because you're a direct disciple? Damn bastard, when you fall into my hands, I'll make sure you beg for death." Hua Zishu's face was extremely gloomy with hatred in his heart. "Cave Master Qin, you're too serious. Even though the monitoring hall has great power, we will not abuse our power. The heavens are just." Wei Zhongming stared at Qin Feng intently. "Cave Master Qin, please answer me seriously. What were you doing 6 days ago?" 6 days ago. 6 days ago was when Lin Guangdong and Jiang Hanguang were killed. An extremely powerful aura filled the air and went straight to the bottom of one's heart. It was a secret technique with interrogation, judgment, and judgment. It directly targeted one's heart. Ordinary experts, even supreme almighties and quasi-sages, would not be able to escape the interrogation of one's heart. Qin Feng felt a huge mirror appear in front of him. Under the reflection of the mirror, there was nowhere to hide. His memories involuntarily went back to 6 days ago. This was extremely domineering. The monitoring hall's power was beyond imagination. They even attacked a direct disciple. 6 days ago. 6 days ago, I was in the hidden wave cave. Qin Feng's face was cold as he sneered in his heart. He was the ancestor of the inner demon. He was the best at this kind of secret technique. The inner demon was ever-changing and was best at hiding. It could be real or fake. You can ask the others in the hidden wave cave about this. When he said this, Qin Feng's heart did not waver in the slightest. Su Qin, Wei Zhongming, and the rest stared at Qin Feng. Hua Zishu was especially expectant. However, they were soon disappointed. Chapter 674. When he had killed Lin Guangdong and Jiang Hanguang, Qin Feng had been prepared. He had used a clone to create a perfect alibi. In addition, he had a perfect mental state and the supreme secret art of the ancient Demon Heart Sutra. Not to mention interrogating his heart, even if he used a supreme secret technique to illuminate time, he still wouldn't be able to find any flaws. Wei Zhongming, who had used the 9 scenery's soul-splitting mirror, had the most direct understanding. Qin Feng's mental state was flawless. According to the secret art, when someone lied, no matter how well they concealed it, the mirror would show a trace of disturbance in their mental state. However, Qin Feng's mental state was crystal clear and flawless. The light it emitted was pure and magnanimous. He frowned and snorted. He started to reverse the flow of the 9 scenery's soul-splitting mirror. This was a forbidden ability that involved time. If possible, he didn't want to do it. First of all, it was a great burden on him. Second, it could easily harm the host's true soul. However, for some unknown reason, perhaps due to the influence of too many discussions, Wei Zhongming had an indelible suspicion towards Qin Feng. This came from his Saint Tao. He cultivated the Azure Blood Cyan Meditation Sutra, and he believed in his intuition. Qin Feng could clearly feel the trace of time. His true soul subconsciously sank, and a trace of anger flashed across his face. The secret art of time involved the deepest secret of his heart. You're going too far. Do you really think I'm a pushover? Qin Feng's eyes were as cold as a knife, cutting through the sky. Break. Qin Feng directly summoned the Abyss Demonic Diagram. A fragment of the diagram flew out and transformed into a trace of his true intent when he traveled through time. A terrifying space-time storm pierced through the endless void. It rushed into Wei Zhongming's saint soul. Rumble! Wei Zhongming's eyes flashed with shock. The terrifying space-time concept forced its way into the bottom of his saint soul. His saint soul almost couldn't withstand this power. Crack, crack! His saint soul almost shattered. What was the space-time concept? It was a forbidden power, a forbidden domain that even demon gods were afraid of. Bang! Wei Zhongming's footsteps were a little messy. He exerted force with his feet, and a mark several inches deep appeared on the ground. Brother Wei! Su Qin was shocked. Qin Feng, what have you done? Hua Zishu had already rushed forward, his eyes filled with malevolence. He was about to make a move, but at the next moment, his body stiffened. Qin Feng stood up, and at the next moment, he suddenly appeared in front of Hua Zishu. A violent killing intent that could slaughter all living things was like a long saber that could slay gods and demons, piercing into Hua Zishu's heart. A bone-piercing chill made Hanako involuntarily stop all her movements. He had a feeling that if he did anything else, something very bad would happen. Su Qin's expression flashed. He appeared in front of Hua Zishu and coldly stared at Qin Feng. Young man, don't go too far. A hint of danger flashed. Qin Feng was furious. I'm going overboard. You all used a secret technique to search the true soul of a true disciple just because of a trace of suspicion. Could it be that you all are not going overboard? The true soul involved the foundation of a martial Tao expert. If one was not careful, one's foundation would be destroyed. The curtain-lifting General Tsang Yu and True Lord Jiyuan's expressions changed slightly. True Lord Jiyuan looked at the people from the monitoring hall with an ugly expression. Brother Wei, Brother Su, aren't your methods too much? This Qin Feng is a true disciple of Xingqian school. The monitoring hall's methods made the two furious. As the saying goes, the fox mourns the death of the rabbit. Qin Feng's identity was not as simple as an ordinary inner sect disciple. Using such cruel methods to deal with a true disciple that they only had a trace of suspicion. Even a true disciple was treated like this, not to mention the others in the sect. Ancestors, you are too indulgent of the monitoring hall. We must ask the Grand Elders and Peak Masters to limit the power of the monitoring hall. True Lord Jiyuan and Tsang Yu looked at each other, a hint of coldness flashing in their eyes. Who knows, the monitoring hall's methods might fall on them one day. The high and mighty true disciples, and even the Grand Elders had to be monitored. This might sound normal, but if it really fell on them, it would not be pleasant. Looking at True Lord Jiyuan and Tsang Yu's expressions, Su Qin frowned. There was an extremely strong undercurrent in Xingqian school now. Many experts thought that the monitoring hall should be abolished, or checked and balanced against the monitoring hall. Qin Feng's expression was gloomy. The monitoring hall was more overbearing than he imagined. If he did not have the abyss map fragment, he might have suffered a loss. However, looking at True Lord Zhiyuan and Song Yu's expressions, Qin Feng knew that the monitoring hall might have already caused public anger in Xingqian school. Let's go. Seeing that the situation was hopeless, Su Qin supported Wei Zhongming, who had his eyes closed, and coldly glanced at Qin Feng. His gaze was sharp, and the group quietly left. Hua Zishu's eyes were filled with unwillingness. When he thought of the cold figure in red, his heart felt as if it was bitten by a poisonous snake. His eyes were exceptionally cold. Qin Feng, count yourself lucky this time. I, Hua Zishu, will not let this matter rest. I don't believe that you are innocent. Don't let me catch you. Hua Zishu's heart burned with jealousy as he turned and left. Qin Feng, you did well. Actually, we did not wish for this to be your doing. Now you are temporarily a suspect. However, you are not completely cleared of suspicion. Although the monitoring hall is overbearing, their methods are indeed superb. True Lord Zhiyuan walked up and looked at Qin Feng. Take care of yourself. Also, because the position of Peach Blossom Camp's chief is vacant, we will choose a new chief in 10 days. You are only a cave master. According to the rules, you do not have the right to participate in the fight for the position of chief. However, you do not belong to any of the mountain chiefs, so we can make an exception. In 10 days, Shaoyang Camp will ask Sky Palace for instructions. At that time, the corresponding mission will be issued. According to the old rules, the one who completes the mission first will succeed the position of Chief of Peach Blossom Camp. True Lord Zhiyuan glanced at Qin Feng as he spoke. His figure disappeared with Song Yu. From the beginning to the end, he had only accompanied Hua Zishu and had not spoken a word. Seeing that the group had disappeared, Qin Feng heaved a sigh of relief. In reality, Qin Feng was still wary of the monitoring hall. The monitoring hall had many unimaginable methods. If they used all of them, he might not be able to withstand them. Fortunately, Xingqian school had 2 factions, so the monitoring hall did not dare to be too presumptuous. Perhaps in the future, the monitoring hall would continue to pester him. However, it would not be as dangerous as today. I have to speed up my cultivation after surviving this calamity. Qin Feng didn't really care about the small crisis in front of him. After refining the true spirit pearl, Qin Feng thought of something. The golden era was about to begin. The curtains had been lifted, and the official beginning was the birth of a deity position. The birth of this deity position had completely opened up the era of great battles. Following the birth of this deity position, many other deity positions would appear one after another. Countless ancient powerhouses would surface for the sake of these deity positions. Qin Feng's strength was still too weak. With his current strength, it was too difficult to obtain the deity position. Even if he obtained it, he could not refine it immediately. It was an existence that would hasten his death. Chapter 675. There were several important stages in the beginning of the Golden Era. Qin Feng divided each stage into a symbolic event. The first stage of the Golden Era was most famous for the arrival of the heaven and earth's chi tide, the creation of the era, and the birth of the first deity position in the Golden Era. The first deity position was very special. There were 3 types of deity positions: high-grade innate deity position, high-grade mid-deity position, and low-grade acquired deity position. However, regardless of the type of deity position, when the time was right, one could break through to the demon god realm, wield authority, and live forever. However, if one could obtain an innate deity position, they would naturally have an additional foundation compared to other demon gods. When they became a demon god, both their potential and strength would be superior. especially the innate deity position. The innate deity position was also the origin god, innately suppressing other demon gods. In Qin Feng's impression, the first deity position was the dragon deity position. It was this dragon deity position that opened the Golden Era, where humans were like dragons. The dragon deity position was a mid-deity position, but it was actually a special mid-deity position. Strictly speaking, its status was not inferior to an ordinary innate deity position. Qin Feng had a deep impression of this deity position. The dragon deity position came from the depths of the dragon world. The dragon world was a large-scale grotto heaven created by the immemorial dragon clan. This deity position was born from the intertwining of the dragon clan's chi tide. Due to the chi tide, the dragon clan's experts, and even those who cultivated the dragon clan's true body, were qualified to participate in the competition. If Qin Feng's guess was right, the dragon clan's experts, or those who cultivated the true dragon body, had already entered the dragon world to compete. Following the birth of the dragon deity position were the four origin deity positions: earth, water, wind, and fire. These were the four innate deity positions, the focus of many experts. However, before this, many ancient heavens prides began to appear. Countless ancient secret realms opened, and a group of old antiques would rush out like a flood, forming the most important turbulence in the Golden Era. Under the impact of this turbulence, many first-rate sects would be completely destroyed and replaced by new forces. Qin Feng didn't care about what Xingqian school was like. Qin Feng only wanted to protect the people around him during the Great Calamity. Right now, the most important thing for him was to raise his cultivation. Qin Feng didn't care about the position of the dragon god, but the birth of the four great elemental god positions was something he had to fight for, especially the innate water elemental deity position. There were quite a number of water deity positions in the Golden Era, including the black water deity position, the five-directional sea deity position, the river deity position, and so on. However, in terms of grades, the deity positions of the five-direction sea gods were merely mid-heaven deity positions, similar to the river god deity position, while the black water deity position was merely an acquired deity position. Only the innate water elemental godhood was an innate godhood. Qin Feng cultivated the law of dark water. If he could obtain the water elemental godhood, he might be able to ascend to godhood in a short period of time. Using the identity of water elemental origin demon god to fight for the space deity position, he would have a 90% chance of succeeding. These were just some of the plans hidden in Qin Feng's heart. In fact, it was still unknown whether he could snatch the deity position from those ancient supreme beings or even ancient supreme beings. Currently, there were only two things that were most important to Qin Feng: find the traces of the Kunlun spiritual ruins, obtain the merit black-yellow qi, and break through to the supreme mighty realm. The other was to refine the sea god's relic and comprehend the law of ocean within. Qin Feng tried to see if he could sublimate the law of dark water into the law of ocean. There was a ladder to the laws. At the top were undoubtedly the various innate and origin laws. These laws were also known as high-grade laws. The next level was the innate laws, the branch laws of the various branches of the origin laws, such as the explosion law under the fire law. This level of law was called the culmination law, also known as the mid-grade law. The next level was the various low-grade laws, such as the lava law under the explosion law. This law was also known as the postnatal law. Qin Feng's void law was a high-grade law. However, the law of dark water was only a postnatal law. Above it could be sublimated into the culmination law of ocean or the culmination law of corrosion. These were two paths. The law of ocean led to the innate water elemental law. The law of corrosion led to the innate destruction law. Just as Qin Feng was refining the sea god's relic in seclusion, refining the sea god's essence and sublimating the law of dark water. At this moment, in the ancient origin cave of the Tongling fort, rumble, The entire ancient origin cave was filled with thunderbolt. Countless wind and thunder shot out from within. At the foot of the mountain, a group of well-dressed, mighty star soldiers and star generals trembled in fear. The terrifying lightning carried with it a fury that could destroy the heavens, causing their minds to tremble uncontrollably. In the cave, Yi Ding's handsome face flickered with gloominess. Even the supervisory hall didn't find any clues? Junior brother Yi, this Qin Feng is indeed not easy to deal with. Not only is he eloquent, but he is also very tough. Although he has no background, he is extremely good at explaining. The most despicable ones are those people from the 28 Peak. They interfered. Recalling the warning he received not long ago, Hanazi Su's malicious face flickered with traces of resentment. This is normal. He is also a person with a star fate. Furthermore, what kind of support does he have? Isn't this like adding wings to a tiger? It is actually very easy to kill a person with a star fate reincarnation. However, this is when he has yet to rise. Normally, there are 3 stages to a star fate reincarnation. The first stage is when a trace of star fate reincarnation descends from the heavens. At this time, it is actually the easiest to kill. Yi Ding sighed. The second stage is the growth stage. As the saying goes, a dragon trapped in the shallows will be toyed with by shrimp. However, once a dragon enters the sea, it will be able to summon the wind and summon the rain. For example, Qin Feng entered Xingchen School and received recognition. Similarly, when a dragon enters the sea, the main star in the heavens will increase its investment, allowing it to grow faster. This stage is the hardest to kill. For example, Qin Feng. The third stage is the descent of the heavenly stars. At this stage, the constellations will completely approve of the star fate reincarnation. It will all be cast down, allowing the star fate reincarnation to be perfect. This is the peak. As the saying goes, after the peak comes the decline. After this stage, it is time to harvest the leeks. Yi Ding stood with his hands behind his back, a cold smile in his eyes. Look at this world. In countless countries, there are also stars' fate reincarnations that accompany the king. However, once the general trend passes, the cunning rabbit will be killed and the hound will be cooked. As the saying goes, you have to spit out as much as you have received. These star fate reincarnations may be prosperous for a period of time, but they will eventually have to pay back. That is, these star fate reincarnations will suffer great calamity. As the saying goes, when the time comes, the heavens and earth will work together. When the time comes, the hero will not be free. Look at those heroes who helped establish the country. Don't most of them die a horrible death? Hua Zishu clenched his teeth. Junior brother Yi, it is too late. I can't wait any longer. I want that skin to die without a burial ground. As soon as he thought of that beautiful girl in red who might be lying in Qin Feng's arms and enjoying him, a poisonous flame burned fiercely in his heart. I must have you. Hua Zishu's eyes flashed with a sinister light. Don't worry. I am the same as you. I will not give Qin Feng any chance. Even star fate reincarnations can die a violent death. I already have a plan. I guarantee that this brat will die without a burial ground. I have a cold and am a little dizzy. Everyone, please forgive me. Chapter 676. 10 days later, Qin Feng, who was only able to refine a strand of the sea god's essence, had no choice but to come out of seclusion. The selection for the Peach Blossom Fort Head had begun. The position of Peach Blossom Fort Head was quite tempting to the weak Qin Feng. According to the rules, each cave could only take 10% of the orbs of will and hand over 90%. The mountain chieftain would then take 20% and hand over 70%. The Peach Blossom Fort would take 20% and hand over 50% to the Shaoyang Fort. The Shaoyang Fort would also take 20% and hand over 30% to the Eastern Vanquishing Demon's Palace. Hidden Wave Cave had 3 large mountain cities, countless small and large mountain strongholds, and millions of residents. According to Qin Feng's original calculations, they could produce close to 4,000 high-grade orbs of will in a year. According to the rules, a cave master like Qin Feng could only take 10%. That was around 400 high-grade orbs of will. According to Qin Feng's original calculations, his primal chaos cave would need at least 100,000 high-grade orbs of will to evolve into a large-scale cave heaven. In other words, he would have to stay in the cave master position for at least 250 years. He would have to live frugally to have the primal chaos cave evolve into a large-scale cave heaven. Of course, he had to be careful with his calculations. The 400 high-grade orbs of will he received every year still had to be used to pay the salaries of his subordinates in Hidden Wave Cave. Hidden Wave Cave had a series of subordinates: a registrar, a patrol inspector, an instructor, and a sixth branch. Under the sixth branch were the horse deputy, the treasurer, the military supervisor, and so on. After careful calculation, Qin Feng would still have around 300 orbs of will left in a year, and that was definitely the result of deducting his subordinates' salaries. But the mountain chieftain position was different. For example, the mountain chieftain of Rotten Peach Mountain under the Peach Blossom Fort. According to the rules, the mountain chieftain could take 20%. This seemed no different from the treatment of a cave master. But in reality, the difference was too great. Take Rotten Peach Mountain for example. There were 7 or 8 caves under it. Every cave would take 20%. Using Hidden Wave Cave as an example, a cave's income would be 800 high-grade orbs of will. 8 caves would be 6,400 orbs of will. Compared to the remaining 400 orbs of will, it was more than 10 times. And at the level of the Peach Blossom Stockade's chief, it was even more frightening. He could obtain at least 30,000 orbs of will in a year. 330,000, that was 100 times. If Qin Feng could become the chief of the Peach Blossom Fort, his Chaos Grotto Heaven could become a large-scale grotto heaven in just 3 years. The difference between a few hundred years and 3 years was shocking. The Orb of Will was a valuable item. It was the currency that circulated throughout the myriad realms. Wealth moves people's hearts. 3,000 miles of peach blossoms were all pink. The roots of the ancient peach trees were like horned dragons, inhaling and exhaling the essence of the mountains and rivers, displaying their beauty to their heart's content. Streaks of starlight blossomed on the mountain. They were all experts. Silently, a figure tore through the void and appeared above the sea of clouds like a ripple in the water. Tearing through the void, another mighty figure is coming. What a powerful person! Tearing the void apart, there isn't even the slightest bit of aura. There isn't even a breeze. His control over the void has already reached the acme of perfection. Some experts had solemn looks in their eyes. It seems like the cave master of Hidden Wave Cave has arrived. Someone recognized Qin Feng's identity. What's he doing here? According to the rules, only mountain chieftains below the chief rank have the right to participate in the competition, right? That's right. If it were an ordinary person, it would naturally be impossible. However, this is a true disciple. According to the rules, true disciples are one level higher than their peers. This means that although he is only a cave master, his status is actually equivalent to a mountain chieftain. Moreover, he is independent from the other mountain chieftains. He does indeed have the right to compete for the chief position. However, I don't think he has much hope. The mountain chieftains are all experts who have been in the position for hundreds of years. Each of them is extremely powerful, and most of them are quasi-sages. I heard that Qin Feng was only a martial artist in the sea reincarnation realm half a month ago. The gap is too big. You are outdated. He has already succeeded in splitting heaven and earth. I heard that he even became a mighty figure in one go. Moreover, he is a mighty figure who has condensed the law of the void. What? The law of the void, one of the 10 iron laws, Amidst the discussions, many cave masters who came to watch the show were shocked. On top of a wooden building, Yang Qin looked at Qin Feng with a scrutinizing gaze. His eyes were filled with coldness. This is the newly promoted true disciple? The bronze skin of Mo, the chief of 100 barbarians' stronghold, trembled. His scarlet hair was like flames. His entire body was like a volcano, nurturing anger that could break through heaven and earth. Yang Qin, I hope you don't disappoint me. Otherwise, you should know the consequences. Mo's expression was cold. Chief Mo, Yang Qin naturally knows this. Since I, Yang Qin, have received benefits from you, I will definitely help you complete this matter. With that treasure of yours, Qin Feng will definitely die. After a slight pause, Yang Qin smiled again. Moreover, this time, you are not the only one who wants Qin Feng to die. If we join forces, even if Qin Feng really has the ability to kill a quasi-sage, he will definitely die. He looked around. On top of a few other wooden buildings, there were existences with temperaments like the sun. Their auras distorted the void, and a few pairs of eyes vaguely looked over. As if they had a tacit understanding, several pairs of eyes separated upon contact. When Qin Feng arrived at Peach Blossom Stronghold, the 8 chiefs of Peach Blossom Stronghold had already arrived. Rotten Peach Mountains Chief, Pearl Ling Mufeng, 9 Plate Mountains Chief, Long Shuyun, Stack Cloud Mountains Chief, Yu Dongfang, Little Spirit Mountains Chief, Li Yun, White Wolf Mountains Chief, Yang Qin, Green Lotus Mountains Chief, Gongsun Jinyang, West Ancient Mount Hua's Chief, Yin Wanyan, and Danxia Mountains Chief, He Xin. Behind each of the 9 chiefs of mountain was a proud and valiant general. Countless starlight manifested, and a myriad of phenomena and multicolored light shone. One could vaguely see huge worlds floating and sinking, hiding countless experts. 8 Directions Mountains Chief, the winds and clouds of the 8 directions shook. What a powerful aura that shook 1,000 miles. Other than the 8 Directions Mountains Chief, there were 2 other experts who were qualified to compete for the chief's position. Danger lurks everywhere. As soon as Qin Feng arrived, he could vaguely feel a few bone-chilling dangers appearing around him. Although they were well hidden, they could not escape the spiritual senses of a spiritual turtle, which had been cultivated by the Cosmos Elephant technique. The cicada senses before the golden wind moves, sending the impermanence of death without knowing. Who is trying to kill me? Qin Feng furrowed his brows and glanced around. However, the gazes of this person with unclear intentions confused his senses. Look, the 2 deputy chiefs, Lian Biun and Huang Zishan, have appeared. It seems that the 2 deputy chiefs will also participate in the competition for the chief's position of Peach Blossom Stronghold. 2 lumps of aura that were as bright as the sun appeared. The surging aura rushed into the sky like waves. These were 2 unparalleled almighty experts. However, the aura they exuded was not weaker than that of some quasi-sages. Even so, countless experts present knew that these 2 did not have the upper hand among the 8 chiefs. Buzz, buzz. At this moment, there was an invisible vibration in the void. In the center of the stronghold, a small seed suddenly appeared on the ground. The seed took root and sprouted in the void. In an instant, an ancient tree that shone with endless green light appeared on the spot. There seemed to be a green sun above the ancient tree. As soon as the green sun appeared, some of the chiefs in the surrounding buildings felt as though the paradise worlds in their bodies were being sucked away. It was a horrifying feeling that their vitality had been frozen. Time and space were frozen. The 3rd chief of Shaoyang Stronghold, true monarch Qin Huang, had arrived. What a terrifying existence! Qin Feng felt as though he was looking at a towering tree that covered the clouds and the moon. Chapter 677. True monarch Qin Huang looked at the experts around him and said slowly, "Very well, everyone is here. Let's make a long story short. The chief of Peach Blossom Stockade is an extremely important position in the 100,000 mountains of Xingqian school. To be able to sit in this position, one must not only be qualified, but also have cultivation and corresponding abilities. All of you meet the requirements, but there's only one position. It's inevitable that the others will be dissatisfied with the position. Therefore, we'll follow the old rules and conduct an ancient trial. The mission this time is very clear. Each of you will lead an army and assist Shaoyang Stockade in attacking the Golden Light Fey Nation. Each of you will rely on your own abilities. Among the 31 cities of the Golden Light Fey Nation, whoever destroys the most cities will be the chief of Peach Blossom Stockade. What? Attack the Golden Light Fey Nation? All of the cave masters who came here and some of the martial experts who were there to watch the show changed their expressions. The Golden Light Fey Nation was one of the overlords of this area. Behind it stood the Golden Crow Fire Clan, one of the 12 royal clans of the Demon Temple. Were they going to start a war with the Demon Temple? All of the mountain masters were shocked. Even the 2 vice chiefs had a layer of frost between their eyebrows. It was as if they could see mountains of corpses and seas of blood floating toward them. Something's going to happen. Yes, attack the Golden Light Fey Nation. How can it be so easy to deal with the Golden Light Fey Lord? I heard that he's a 6th level great saint. The 12 Fey marshals under him are all at least sage to be. Some of them are even ancient Fey kings who have attained the divine path. Moreover, the other 6 Fey nations won't let this go easily. But this time, it's not going to be easy. Attacking cities and seizing territories is not as simple as plotting assassinations and sabotaging. That's right. The Golden Light Demon Kingdom has 31 huge cities, each of which is magnificent and is not inferior to the upper-grade commanderies in the realm of stars. It can be said that there are many experts in the demon tribe. Some of the cave masters clicked their tongues. Usually, the 6 Fey nations had the upper hand. It was already a miracle that the Fey nation did not attack the cave masters. Attack the major demon cities. Qin Feng's eyes drooped. It was clear that he was at a disadvantage in this competition. True monarch Qing Huang said that each of them would lead an army. But it didn't say that he couldn't bring his own wealth. Qin Feng was like a general without an army. Evidently, the various mountain chieftains had also understood this point, and their eyes were filled with smiles. It seems that some people have been eliminated from the beginning. Some of the cave masters laughed in a low voice. With regards to Qin Feng, the cave master, being able to participate in the competition, many people could not bear to watch. This was to be expected. We are all cave masters, so why are you so special? Many experts had experienced many trials and tribulations. To be able to reach their current status, they had all climbed extraordinarily. It was already uncomfortable to be on the same level as a brat. Now that he had special privileges that they did not have, it made them even more dissatisfied. The entire Peach Blossom village was in an uproar. 11 tokens flew down from the green tree. Qin Feng caught one of them. The ground in his hand had a special texture, as if it corresponded to the stars in the sky. This is the Astral Soldier Tiger token. Each of you has one. With this token, you can mobilize 10,000 astral soldiers. Of course, in order to prevent conflicts between you, Shaoyang Village has designed an attack route for you. If anyone deviates from the route, you will automatically give up your right to inherit the position of Mountain Chieftain. True monarch Qing Huang's eyes were filled with a stern warning. In an instant, the entire Peach Blossom village was filled with killing intent. It was as cold as the 12th lunar month. True monarch Qing Huang's meaning was clear. They wanted a healthy competition and could not drag each other down. His words greatly disappointed many people who were ready to watch a show. This would be an exciting fight. Only a small number of people knew that there would be no accidents in this show. Moreover, because of the rules, it would become more and more exciting. All right, I hereby announce that the competition for the position of Mountain Chieftain begins now. As for the end date, it will be the day when the Golden Light Demon capital is conquered. In other words, whoever can reach the Golden Light Demon capital first will be the next Mountain Chieftain. As soon as he finished speaking, a green light flashed, and true monarch Qing Huang disappeared without a trace. The various mountain chieftains moved as soon as they heard the news. Like a tornado, they also left in an instant. On a tall building, Yang Qin played with the tiger tally in his hand. As he looked at Mo, Uncle Master Mo, it seems like you won't be able to deal with Qin Feng this time? Mo's eyes were cold as he sneered. Yang Qin, you're wrong. This is the best opportunity. This time, I'll do it personally. You don't have to worry about it. Yang Qin was shocked. Uncle Master, are you preparing to? Mo sneered. This time, not only will I be blocked in the Golden Light Demon Nation by him, but I'll also use his life as a blood sacrifice for my second brother. Not long after, in the ancient Essence Cave of the Bronze Tomb Village. Attack the Demon City. Yi Ding laughed. Hua Zishu and Yi Ding exchanged glances and saw the laughter in each other's eyes. At this moment, the underworld Raven Kingdom had also attracted 3 special guests. In the restaurant, a young man was kneeling on the table below the 3 experts. 3 supremacies. This disciple has already found out the location of the young master's murderer. Looking at the 3 experts before him, the young man's heart trembled violently. He never thought that the sect would send 3 such tyrannical figures this time. Compared to his cheap master, the strength of these 3 people was not the slightest bit inferior. Ling Yangwei, I heard that your status in Xingqian School is not low. You're the direct disciple of the Hall Master of the Herb King Hall and a half-step core disciple. I heard that you almost became a core disciple of Xingqian School this time. Our Divine Might sect did not waste our efforts to rejuvenate you, cleanse your body, and send you to Xingqian School. The young man's eyes flashed as he bowed again. Yangwei will never forget the sect's kindness. Yangwei is a wedge that the sect will use to penetrate Xingqian School. I'll be willing to sacrifice my life for the sect at any time. Good. I thought you had already forgotten about the Divine Might sect. One of the experts sneered. Actually, you're a smart person. You should know the sect's methods. Don't have any thoughts that you shouldn't have. Unless it's absolutely necessary, the Divine Might sect will never give up on a disciple. Ling Yangwei was drenched in cold sweat as he said fearfully. Yes. Ling Yangwei will never forget the teachings of the Divine Might sect for hundreds of years. That's good. You don't need to be nervous. This time, it was Junior Sister who asked us to take action, so we temporarily used you. Speak, where is that person now? At the Peach Blossom Stronghold's Hidden Wave Cave in the 100,000 Mountains Golden Crow battlefield. You supremacies came at the right time. He's about to lead troops to the Golden Light Fey Nation? Speaking of that person, Ling Yangwei's eyes were gloomy. 3 supremacies, please eliminate this person. Not only is he the murderer of young Master Xian Wuji, but he's also the rock that's blocking this disciple's future. Ling Yangwei gritted his teeth. This disciple originally had 80 to 90% chance of becoming the next Hall Master of the Herb King Hall, but this person came out of nowhere and caused this disciple's position to become awkward. I had no choice but to come to the savage battlefield. The 3 experts looked at each other with a trace of coldness in their eyes. Don't worry. This person killed Junior Sister's son. He's already a dead man. You don't need to worry. Chapter 678. Shaoyang Village. The 3 fort masters sat high up on the seats side by side, their gazes distant. Right at this moment, a beam of spiritual light flew over. True Lord Green Emperor sighed. It has begun. The Dragon Head Stockade, Yellow Crag Stockade, Bronze Hill Stockade, Bronze Drum Stockade, and Heavenly Fire Stockade have begun their main attack. The 11 flanking troops have also begun to advance according to the designated positions. Fiend Subduing Palace has also sent news. They will order the nearby main strongholds to temporarily hold back the forces of the other 5 Fey nations. True Lord Hongyang shook his head. As for the other 5 demon nations, the Radiance Demon Nation, the Black Wind Demon Nation, the Golden Ridge Demon Nation, and the Donghua Demon Nation, they are not easy to deal with. The time they can buy for us is limited. We have to defeat the Golden Light Demon Nation before they can react. After saying that, his gaze fell on True Lord Jiyuan. Big brother, I'll leave the Golden Light Yao Lord to you. True Lord Jiyuan nodded. Don't worry, second brother, third brother. It might be difficult to kill a 6th level demon saint, but it's still possible to trap it. Alright, as long as Big Brother can temporarily trap Golden Light Yao Monarch. It's up to us now. It seems like the Shaoyang stronghold is determined to use the Golden Light Fey Kingdom as a scapegoat. On top of a barren mountain, Qin Feng looked at a huge city lying dormant on the ground in the distance with a smile in his eyes. The huge city was built in the middle of the mountains and was connected to the earth veins. Endless demonic chi soared into the sky. Under the demon city, many of the barbarian tribe and even the human race were doing the heavy labor, working like cattle and horses. Someone as important as the chief of Peach Blossom Stockade couldn't die in vain. The 5 demon monarchs had all been dragged to the Golden Light Demon Kingdom. This gave the Shaoyang stronghold an excuse. At this time, behind the barren mountain, tens of thousands of star soldiers stood in great numbers, countless star banners fluttering in the wind. Even the weakest astral soldier was at the Meridian's condensation realm. Many of the star generals among them were void wonderfulness realm. The 10 commanders were all experts at the Sea of Reincarnation realm. These people might be weaker in individual combat, but if they were to form a battle formation, their strength would be very strong. A staff member wearing silver battle armor at the side looked at Qin Feng and said, "General, when are we going to attack the city?" The officer asked with a frown. "The 10 armies have all set out. We are the only ones who have not moved forward." General Chang Qin, don't be hasty. War is a matter of national importance. It's a matter of life and death, and it's a matter of life and death. Qin Feng smiled. Looking at this valiant young expert, it was hard to imagine that he would be the famous fire god of the Linghai continent in the future. He had met another legendary expert. What was even more dramatic was that the future fire god had been assigned to be his subordinate. Besieging a city is not something that can be done overnight. As a general, I don't care about it, but you are all made of flesh and blood. Since the 3 fort masters have assigned you to me, Qin Feng, then I, Qin Feng, naturally have the responsibility to bring you back safe and sound. The young man named Chang Qin was slightly taken aback, as if he had not expected Qin Feng to say such a thing. However, his expression did soften quite a bit. Even the many star soldiers and star generals behind him looked at Qin Feng with an additional sense of recognition. Only a general who cherished their lives was worthy of their loyalty. The 10 star generals looked at each other, and their expressions changed slightly. Then what is the general's plan? Chang Qin was wearing a silver-white armor. He was extremely handsome, and his strength was at the giant realm. He looked very valiant and imposing. His expression was solemn. Qin Feng smiled. "How many points are there in the art of war?" Chang Qin's eyes flickered. "General, may I ask what points are they?" "In the art of war, the first is Tao, the second is heaven, the third is earth, the fourth is general, and the fifth is law. The Tao can make the people agree with him, so he can live or die with him. The people are crafty. The heaven, yin, yang, cold, summer, and time. The earth, high and low, near and far, dangerous and easy, wide and narrow, life and death. The general, wisdom, faith, benevolence, courage, and severity. The law, song, official path, and main usage. Those who know these 5 points will win, those who don't will lose. Qin Feng spoke in a clear and bright voice. These were the words of a military saint from a later generation. The Tao here referred to politics or the support of those in power. At this moment, the Shaoyang stronghold was attacking the Golden Light Demon Kingdom with all their might. Naturally, it could be said that they were of one mind. As for the timing, location, and people, it was even easier to explain. The fourth general was naturally the soul of an army. As the soul of an army, a general must have certain qualities. Wisdom, courage, decisiveness, and discipline, these were the basic qualities of a general. As for law, it referred to the legal system. It referred to the organization, military training, and regulations. After taking over this army, Qin Feng didn't immediately lead the charge like the other armies because of these 5 considerations. First, he sent out the inner demon to scout out the situation in front of him. Secondly, he took the opportunity to create chaos, creating the right time, location, and people. Next, he established his prestige and took complete control of this army, turning it into his own. In Qin Feng's opinion, the most powerful aspect of an army was to follow orders and prohibitions. If an army charged directly, it would be nothing more than a motley crew. According to the route given by Shaoyang village, on Qin Feng's map, they had to conquer at least 3 huge cities and 11 big cities. The 3 major cities were Boulder City, Westridge City, and Firmament City, which was the strongest city in the Golden Light Demon capital. Qin Feng could clearly hear that the Shaoyang stronghold wanted them to completely occupy these cities. If they suffered too many casualties, they wouldn't be able to completely occupy them. Qin Feng wasn't like the other mountain lords who had many subordinates to help them, so he had to be careful and meticulous. He had to be so precise that he had to account for every astral soldier. The general is wise. Chang Qin and the 10 commanders looked at each other in shock. Clearly, they hadn't expected Qin Feng, a student of the Xingqian school, to have such knowledge. These words could be said to be pearls. If these words were to spread, they would probably become a textbook maxim for military strategists. At this moment, in the distant sky, a black gas emerged from the void and instantly entered Qin Feng's body. General, Chang Qin's expression changed. It's fine. This is an illusion of my divine ability. Qin Feng shook his head and smiled. His gaze fell on the demon city in front of him. The city in front of us is called Golden Butterfly City. The leader of the city is the Golden Butterfly Clan's Monster King. I've already investigated. The Golden Butterfly's full name is Golden Four-Winged Butterfly. It's an ancient spiritual species. This spiritual insect is best at a type of metal wind divine ability. It's very powerful. However, there aren't many golden four-winged butterflies. The Golden Butterfly Monster King is only a level 2 Supreme Almighty. Below him, there are 2 level 1 Almighties of the Golden Four-Winged Butterfly Clan. Other than these leaders, there are 40,000 lesser demons. These lesser demons come from the depths of the wilderness. There are many types of them, but they aren't very strong. General Chang Qin, tell our brothers to get ready. We'll kill our way into Golden Butterfly City in a moment and wipe out all these butterfly demons. The Golden Butterfly Clan specializes in beauties. Chapter 679. Shaoyang Village. In a large essence light mirror, countless troops and horses could be seen clearly. This place had already been designated as a temporary base. Experts appeared one after another, rushing in all directions. What is this cave master Qin Feng doing? Why is he dilly-dallying? The other 10 armies have already started to attack the city. They are even faster than the Flying Cloud Army led by the 1st Army's Flying Cloud General Lian Bian. The Earth King Army led by the 2nd Army's Deputy Chief, Huang Zishan, has already broken through 3 big cities. He is still hesitating for 2 days. Looking at the few demon cities with star flags on the sand table, some of the supervising celestial officers were puzzled. Other than Qin Feng, the two deputy chiefs were Lian Biun, Huang Zishan, Rotten Peach Mountains Chief, Long Shuyun, Stacking Cloud Mountains Chief, Yu Dongfang, Little Spirit Mountains Chief, Li Yun, White Wolf Mountains Chief, Yang Qin, Green Lotus Mountains Chief, Gongsun Jinyang, West Ancient Huashan's Chief, Yin Wanyan, and Danxia Mountains Chief, He Xen. All in all, the 10 armies were advancing triumphantly. They were invincible. The slowest one had already taken down a big city. The fastest ones, Lian Biun and Huang Zishan, were already approaching the first big city. Only the Black Water King flag represented by Qin Feng was still not moving forward. Is he afraid of battle? I heard that he has just broken through to the Almighty Realm? I don't think so. Since he has the guts to fight for the chief's position, he won't be afraid of battle. I think he is just being cautious. Look at his so-called reorganization of the army, organization of the troops, and sending people to investigate. His actions are shrewd and ruthless. I think he will win. All the commanding celestial officers present had seen clearly what the 11th Division had done. Compared to other people, Qin Feng's movements were admittedly full, but the ability he displayed on the path of leading troops, as well as the actions of cherishing the star soldiers and star generals under his command, caused many star soldiers and star generals to express deep approval. I don't think so. It is indeed necessary to organize the army, but it will take too long and waste a good opportunity. Now, the Golden Butterfly City's city master has probably received the news and organized a massive defense. Speed is the most important thing in war. His actions are not worth the losses. Yes, the distance between them and the enemy has been widened. This gap will only widen in the future. Once we gain the upper hand, it will be difficult for us to catch up. Actually, based on the current performance of these 10 routes, the strongest should belong to the first route, Lian Biun's troops, the 7th route, White Wolf Mountains Mountain Lord Yang Qin's troops, the 8th route, Green Lotus Mountains Mountain Lord Gongsun Jinyang's troops, and the 9th route, Western Huashan's Mountain Lord Yin Wanyan's troops. Among them, the strength of the White Wolf Mountains Mountain Master is deeply rooted and intertwined. He has the most wings. Not only does he have the help of the experts of the 100 Barbarian Mountain, he also has a few saints secretly taking care of him. It can be said that his imposing manner is like a rainbow. The one who spoke was a soldier in a golden robe. This young man's status in the army was not low. In terms of status, the 3 leaders of Shaoyang village were the most respected. These 3 fort masters were not only the fort masters of Shaoyang main fort, they were also the highest marshals in this battle. Behind him were the 3 generals from the vanquishing Devil Heaven's royal palace: Venus Lu Wudao, Mercury Rin Changhong, Mars Yanfeng. Below these 3 stars were the other fort masters who stayed behind to guard the fort, as well as the battle star officer. This golden-robed soldier's status in the army was not low. He was also a person with real power. Hearing his words, a fort master beside him laughed and said, "This Yang Qin is very strong, but I'm afraid he can't compare to the mountain master of Green Lotus Mountain, Gongsun Jinyang." After Jinyang was known as Green Lotus, not only did she cultivate the Saint Path primordial spirit and advance to the Saint Path, but her strength is also outstanding. I heard that this time she invited many Saint Path friends to help her. Her strength is only stronger than Yang Qin's. Speaking of Gongsun Jinyang, many powerful experts in the field revealed a trace of admiration. She was also an extraordinary woman. Jinyang's strength is outstanding. She has already attained the Saint Path. Especially when I heard that she has also nurtured a natal star god true weapon. She deserves to be the fort master. Natal star god true weapon? Hearing the words of the fort master who had revealed the juicy news, many experts were shocked. Everyone knew that the Xingqian school's art of the mixed stars was extraordinary. However, only the true disciples of the Xingqian school knew that the essence of it was the universe divine weapon mystic record. However, only the core disciples were qualified to know this secret technique. This universal divine weapon mystic record recorded 365 types of finger techniques for forging star god true weapons. Among them, there were 9 high-grade ones, 72 high-grade ones, and 108 mid-grade ones. Although the rest were low-grade ones, once forged, they would all be extremely powerful secret treasures. Especially when the natal star god true weapon could cultivate with the true energy in the body and grow together. This was really stealing the fortune of heaven and earth, and invading the mysteries of the sun and moon. This was considered a Tao-proving treasure. In other words, it was a treasure of law. There were many demi-saints and even saints present. However, there were very few who had truly cultivated a star god true weapon. Everyone guessed that even among the 3 fort masters, only the 9 origin true lord had truly cultivated it. I wonder which star god true weapon senior sister Gongsun has cultivated. Our Xingqian school's universe divine weapon mystic record corresponds to star god weapons. Each one of them is comparable to a primordial treasure. There are even 9 high-grade treasures. Rumor has it that they are not inferior to some primordial divine weapons. I guess it should be the Taisu Green Lotus Sword, one of the 72 high-grade secret treasures. I heard that senior sister Gongsun once obtained a Heaven Green Lotus. The Heaven Green Lotus is the supreme spiritual item used to forge the Taisu Green Lotus Sword. It's possible. The Taisu Green Lotus Sword is ranked 10th among the 72 high-grade secret treasures. It's extremely powerful. When the universe divine weapon mystic record was mentioned, many young fort experts' eyes lit up. At their level of cultivation, they were naturally qualified to know this secret technique. Many of them had already started to collect spiritual materials and divine items. However, very few people had truly cultivated it. However, once they had cultivated it, their strength would not simply increase by 1 + 1. For the Xingqian school's disciples, this star god true weapon was more suitable for them than ordinary true weapons. After all, ordinary true weapons could only be used for a short period of time. Apart from those innate true weapons with innate inextinguishable divine light, other true weapons could only be used for a short period of time, no matter how precious they were. If they were inferior to star god true weapons, they could be used even after becoming a dominator. At this moment, a military officer suddenly exclaimed, "Everyone, look! Lien Biyun of the First Army has already conquered the 4th big city. She has reached the Mountain Tomb Ridge where the first big city is located." Mountain Tomb Ridge? Isn't that the territory of the 9 larvae race? In the fort, many experts, including the 3 stars in the demon-vanquishing Heavenly King Palace, could not help but look over. Most of the ancient races had some wealth. Attacking these races and taking their wealth for themselves was something that many experts were most willing to do. Whether it was those rare spiritual items or the original bodies of the ancient races, the wealth of the cities could be exchanged for all kinds of rare spiritual items in the sect. Golden Butterfly City, in front of the City Lord Mansion. Silently, a figure appeared in the sky. Looking at the beautiful woman in the City Lord's mansion, who was like an empress, Qin Feng's eyes flashed with cold lightning. He formed a seal with his hands, and a huge mountain of flames that swelled to several hundred miles in size slammed down from the sky. Chapter 680. Suddenly, a flaming mountain appeared above his head. The entire Golden Butterfly City instantly turned into a sea of fire and was burned to the ground. Countless foreign races, barbarians, and demons living in the demon city screamed miserably as they struggled in the sea of fire. Who dares to commit murder? A group of Golden Butterfly race experts flew out of the sea of fire in shock and anger. The Golden Butterfly Empress, who was leading the group, had a frosty expression on her beautiful face. 4 gorgeous, ultra-thin golden butterfly wings appeared, and countless golden winds whistled toward Qin Feng. Rumble! Countless buildings were turned into dust by the golden winds. God-grade metal wind law. Not bad. Capture her and help me condense the wind law of Grotto Heaven. Qin Feng's figure completely disappeared from the spot. Oh no! The beautiful woman's expression changed. She wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Qin Feng appeared behind the beautiful woman. With a palm strike, the power of the Grotto Heaven drowned her like a tidal wave. Evil thief, let go of our queen! Rumble! With 2 delicate shouts, 2 infuriated golden butterfly race experts suddenly appeared. 2 law vibrations tore through the sky like long swords and descended on Qin Feng's head. Void freeze. The void law froze the void within 100 miles. Qin Feng turned around and sneered. All of you, come in obediently. The void law distorted the void and turned into 2 vortexes that wrapped around the 2 wide-eyed girls and suppressed them into the Grotto Heaven. Rumble! As various spiritual fires raged, the entire golden butterfly city was burned to the ground. Occasionally, a demonic aura would rush out of the flames. Qin Feng would casually suppress it and send it into the Grotto Heaven. His primal chaos fire was one of the most destructive powers. Coupled with the flaming divine mountain, even some martial arts giants could easily escape. Anyone who was able to escape must have some ability. In Qin Feng's eyes, these demonic races were important laborers. If he captured them, they could help him condense his Grotto Heaven. Qin Feng could clearly see that most of the demonic races that could escape were golden butterfly race expert. Rumble! An hour later, the entire golden butterfly city was reduced to ashes. Swish! Thousands of starlights descended. The expressions of the star soldiers and star generals were shaken. Even from hundreds of feet away, the terrifying flames were so hot that it seemed to be able to burn even the soul. This new lord in front of him was really too terrifying. Looking at the blazing mountain above their heads, many star soldiers and star generals trembled with fear. With this thing under his body, it was guaranteed that he would be burnt to ashes in a matter of minutes. Chongqing looked at Qin Feng. My lord, didn't you say that we have to pay attention to the right time, place, and people? Qin Feng shrugged. I think that taking it slow like that is still too slow. Why don't we just kill our way through and snatch them after we kill them all? I'll be in charge of snatching them away. You guys are in charge of searching for the treasures below. Qin Feng had forgotten that even if these cities were occupied, it had nothing to do with him. Since that was the case, why should they keep it safe? Wouldn't it be better to destroy it all the way? As he spoke, Qin Feng collected countless spirit fires. 2 hours. I'll give you an hour. Find as much as you can. After an hour, we'll set off. If we're late, you'll be punished according to military law. Yes. Thank you, General. Hearing this, the star soldiers and star generals were overjoyed, and their eyes lit up. Tens of thousands of starlights rushed into the demon city that had been burned to ruins and started a carpet search. Although the spirit fires could destroy everything, there were always some good things that could resist the burning of the spirit fires. Rumble! During the search, battles broke out occasionally. Apparently, the demons had escaped the primal chaos fire tribulation and were found by the star soldiers and star generals. They were quickly suppressed. After an hour, tens of thousands of star soldiers and star generals rushed out. Half of honesty was enough for these sharp-eyed star soldiers and star generals to thoroughly search the Golden Butterfly City several times. Let's go to the second city. Speed is crucial in war. Qin Feng turned into a stream of light and rushed toward the second demon city, Withered Pine City. Tens of thousands of starlights answered loudly, looking excited. During the search just now, many people had gained benefit. The 10 commanders and Commander Chongqing looked at each other and formed a mysterious battle formation. Like a huge meteor, they rushed toward the second demon city. Withered Pine City was a big city built in the wilderness. In the autumn wind, the entire ancient city was emitting a desolate aura. The surrounding ancient trees faintly drew in countless wood elemental spirit veins, and a green aura of life surrounded the city. Vaguely, one could see some spirit roots in the center of the city emitting spiritual fluctuations of life. Many star soldiers and star generals were envious. Such spirit roots were extremely rare, and they were generously planted in the center of the city. It was enough to show how rich they were. A commander mustered up his courage and asked Qin Feng, "General, can we not set fire this time? There are so many spirit roots and half-spirit trees." Chang Qin frowned and scolded. "Old Fifth He, you are blind. This withered pine city is not like the golden butterfly city. The city lord is a wood clan quasi-sage. It is said that he achieved Tao with a spirit root. There are also 5 or 6 demon kings of the supreme almighty realm. If we don't burn them, are we going to let them kill us?" That black-skinned, silver-armored commander called Old Fifth. He was still somewhat unresigned. The other commanders also couldn't bear it. There were so many spirit roots in front of them. "General?" Chang Qin looked at Qin Feng. Qin Feng muttered and scanned the entire giant city. This giant city was surrounded by a huge innate wood elemental formation. Logically speaking, it was very difficult to attack. The formation was nothing to Qin Feng. He could still sneak in and set fire to it. Fire restrained wood. If Qin Feng was ruthless, he could guarantee that Withered Pine City would be destroyed in a matter of minutes. However, it was such a pity that so many spiritual roots were burned alive. If all these spirit roots could be stored in the Grotto Heaven, the growth of the entire Chaos Grotto Heaven would be accelerated by at least 3 to 4 times. A trace of ruthlessness flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. "It's okay. No matter how good the spirit roots are, how can they block our way? Wait for my signal." Chang Qin heaved a sigh of relief. Qin Feng's figure flashed and disappeared into the formation in the next moment. The surroundings were filled with dense green trees and ancient forests. The rich aura of life was intoxicating. Even if an ordinary warrior suffered a fatal injury, they would slowly recover in such an environment. As soon as he took a step, the ancient trees around him suddenly changed. The sky and earth spun, and the ancient trees seemed to be endless. It was like a primitive wilderness with a boundless aura. Qin Feng could tell that this ancient forest was a naturally formed formation. This is at least a Grandmaster-level wood elemental formation. Qin Feng looked at it and felt as if he had entered a world of ancient trees. This was an extremely powerful innate formation. Even if thousands of soldiers and horses rushed in, they would be mesmerized and unable to leave for the rest of their lives. In the end, they would be assimilated by the wood elemental laws and become nourishment for the thousands of ancient trees. Qin Feng sneered. This kind of formation couldn't stump him at all. An hour later, after turning left and right, an ancient tree built under a towering divine tree appeared in front of Qin Feng. Chapter 681. The entire withered pine city was exposed in front of Qin Feng. It was a huge city that exuded an ancient and primitive aura. The towering ancient tree in the center supported the entire withered pine city. "What kind of spiritual root is this?" Qin Feng's figure flashed and appeared on top of the ancient tree. Qin Feng had never seen such a huge ancient tree. The leaves were as big as umbrellas, and the branches were as thick as dragons. There were even countless mysterious green scales on it, as if it was an ancient tree that was about to turn into a dragon. The ancient tree's veins revealed a mysterious emerald-green spiritual light. The veins of the leaves were like natural runes that attracted the vitality in the void. Upon closer inspection, Qin Feng's expression was a little strange. This ancient tree was not some mutated spiritual root as he had imagined. This was just an ordinary tree that was swaying in the wind. Just by looking at the veins, Qin Feng could see that this ancient tree was at least 100,000 years old. It was because it was so old that it had such an aura. It's still a treasure tree. Qin Feng was delighted. This was the first time he had seen a treasure tree that was more than 100,000 years old. As long as it lived for a long time, even a pig that lived for 100,000 years could become a god. No matter how ordinary this ancient tree was, it was still an amazing thing that it had lived for 100,000 years. Although it was not a divine tree, it was far superior to ordinary heaven-level spiritual roots. It could definitely be called a quasi-god spiritual root. What a great treasure! Qin Feng was overjoyed. There were also many barbarians and other races living in Withered Pine City. There were many demons guarding it, and the demonic aura was dense. Most of them were small demons that were transformed from tree and vine spirit. Qin Feng could not bear to see other demons, but he was a little fond of demons that were transformed from trees. Capture them all! With a smile in his eyes, Qin Feng directly unleashed his heavenly abode power in the sky. The entire sky suddenly turned into a huge black hole that swept through Withered Pine City like a tornado. Rumble! Countless wood-type demons in the city suddenly looked at the sky in shock. What's going on? What's going on? Oh no, I can't control my body. Soon, many demon clan experts began to panic and struggled with all their might. Rumble! One by one, the figures of the demon clan experts were swallowed into the black hole like flowing light. Not good. This is a heavenly grotto. He wants to capture us and make us slaves. Let's fight. Fight it out with him. Streaks of jade-green translucent demonic chi charged at the devouring power of the black hole. However, many of the monster race powerhouses paled. Beneath the waterfall-like power of the heavenly abode, their monster chi was like ice and snow beneath the great sun, dispersing upon contact. Following a series of furious roars, the small demons were sucked into the grotto heaven like a torrent. Qin Feng recited the supreme whirling golden light mantra. Along with the power of the heavenly abode, the golden light penetrated deep into the souls of these struggling monsters. In the blink of an eye, batches of small demons were melted by the golden light. Cave Master, we have been enlightened. From today onwards, we will devote ourselves wholeheartedly to you. As soon as the small demons entered the grotto heaven, they immediately turned into ancient trees. Most of them were 1,000-year-old trees. As soon as they entered the grotto heaven, they took root in the earth veins and adjusted the earth veins. They transformed the chaotic vital energy in the grotto heaven and helped to suppress the grotto heaven. Among them, many of the small demons had mutated spiritual root. Qin Feng nodded his head at their diligence. The Siren Queen felt it the most directly. She felt that the entire grotto heaven was becoming more and more refined. It was filled with a new power, and the suppressive power on her body increased by 30%. Moreover, the suppressive power was increasing all the time. After a period of time, it would be more than enough to suppress another saint. Damn it! Looking at the small demons who were still reciting the mantra to help Qin Feng refine the grotto heaven, the Siren Queen was a little annoyed. Qin Feng sat cross-legged in the void. The entire grotto heaven enveloped Withered Pine City, and he searched the entire city inch by inch. Most of the small demons with the wood element were captured and stuffed into the grotto heaven. If it were the other barbarians, alien races, or even the monster race, their flesh and blood would be crushed, and their souls would be turned into the most basic vital energy for the heavenly abode to absorb and refine. Bastard, where did you come from? How dare you come to my Withered Pine City to take advantage of me? A flustered and exasperated figure soared into the sky from the city lord's residence. Amidst the bone-piercing murderous intent, tens of thousands of jade-green brilliance formed a light beam that filled the sky and fell heavily on Qin Feng. Rumble! It was as if tens of thousands of thunderbolts were galloping. Would element divine thunder, Tai Green true thunder? In terms of thunder techniques, I'm the ancestor, Qin Feng sneered. He shook his big sleeve, and a large number of 5 elements annihilation divine thunder blasted out like meteors. Countless Tai green divine thunder in the void were blasted away, and the remaining force landed on the green figure with a loud bang. Boom! The terrifying 5 elements annihilation divine thunder was like rain hitting a banana leaf. The void was distorted, and the destructive power caused the figure to stagger several times. How can you possess such a level of grotto heaven power? The surging aura that revealed the sage-to-be aura was shocked and angry. He could clearly sense that Qin Feng was only at the first stage of the martial way, but the grotto heaven power in the power fluctuations had reached an unimaginable level. It was as if the sage-to-be was an ant under this power. Qin Feng sized up the furious sage-to-be. The sage-to-be's face was like a baby's, and his green hair was like a pine tree. The power of the armor-piercing law was violently surging. His face was filled with shock and anger, and his eyes were filled with fear. The armor-piercing law was a mutated wood element law that was comparable to the culmination law. The armor-piercing law was known to be able to break through even the toughest object. If it was further refined, it might be able to come into contact with the power law of the top 10 advanced laws. So it's an old demon with a cloud-winding pine spirit root that has turned into a spirit. Void freezing. Qin Feng's figure appeared, and in the midst of the transformation, a surging void law, supported by the power of the grotto heaven, rushed toward the sage-to-be like a Milky Way. Arrogant! Don't think that you can do anything to me just because you have the power of a medium-sized grotto heaven. You should know that I, the withered pine city, have been here for thousands of years, and I'm not to be trifled with. You won't be leaving today either. Your grotto heaven is abnormally strong, so it's just right for me to devour and become a resource for my advancement. The sage-to-be was furious, and his eyes were cold. He formed a seal with his hands and used some kind of secret technique. His body turned into a stream of light and sank into the swaying green tree. In an instant, a power that far exceeded that of a sage ruler gathered above the swaying green tree. Armor-piercing law, splitting heaven and earth. Rumble! A green light erupted from the towering ancient tree, connecting the heavens and the earth. In an instant, it bombarded Qin Feng's body. The power of the grotto heaven on Qin Feng's body disintegrated and shattered under this power. In an instant, a trace of fear flashed across Qin Feng's eyes. The next moment, there was a loud boom, and the figure instantly turned into a cloud of blood mist. Chapter 682. Little bastard, you're courting death. It's not that there haven't been any experts who used their strength to act wildly in the past 1,000 years, but without exception, they all became fertilizer for the divine tree. Today, not only will you die, this old man will also capture your true soul and torture it inch by inch, making you beg for death. Vicious words came from the tree, as if another face had appeared on it. Countless blood mists flowed, each drop of blood emitting a bearing fluctuation like a star, causing the void to creak under the pressure. The blood mists swirled and instantly recovered. Qin Feng looked indifferent, as if the one who had his body blown up a moment ago was not him. Sizing up the astonished face on the ancient tree, Qin Feng said, I was wondering why a 100,000-year-old swaying tree didn't give birth to perfect intelligence. Turns out that they used a secret method to refine it into their doppelgangers. This ancient tree was originally a suppressive object of the innate wood-type array around here. Now that you've refined it into a doppelganger, its power is indeed enough to break through the defense of my medium-sized heavenly abode. Little bastard, you have good eyesight. Unfortunately, you'll die in this withered pine city in the end. However, to die in the hands of the divine tree, you can be considered to have died a worthy death. A cold smile came, and the swaying tree in the center shook. Dozens of blue lights pierced through the sky and came rumbling down. Armor-breaking law, life absorption. Qin Feng felt as if his life force was being sucked clean by the blue light. His expression changed slightly, and his figure flashed. In an instant, he tore through the void and appeared dozens of zhang away. Want to run? Do you think you can? Layers of killing intent flashed on the old face of the divine tree. With withered Pine City as the center, layers of green light spread out in all directions like a tide, and countless ancient trees in the surroundings appeared to have a seventh-level killing intent. Even though they were dozens of li away, Chang Qin and the other star generals and star soldiers still felt a kind of shudder from the fluctuations emitted. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent. This quasi-sage had completely activated the array. How terrifying was the power of the divine tree combined with an innate seventh-level great array. The ocean-like fluctuations were emitted. Even though they were separated by the origin light mirror, many experts in Shaoyang village couldn't help but feel a kind of fear. It's over. I'm dead for sure. This Qin Feng is too reckless. Everyone knows that there is a divine tree in withered Pine City. He didn't even consider that if the withered pine was easy to break, he wouldn't even have a chance. Many experts could not help but close their eyes. Many people couldn't help but feel sorry for Qin Feng. What a pity for a young man. A Tier 4 alchemist and a 16-year-old true disciple. His future was limitless. Venus Lu Wudao, Mercury's Rin Changhong, and Mars Yen Feng inwardly shook their heads. An innate level 7 array and a quasi-god level spiritual root could kill even a sage king or even a great sage. Rumble. In the void, an infinite amount of green light came crushing down, and the void was forcibly distorted. The abundant armor-piercing laws completely split open the void, as if an ancient saint god was creating the world. Even a mid-sized heavenly abode would find it difficult to deal with such a force. Qin Feng's heavenly abode had just been born, so it was still very weak. Furthermore, his cultivation level was not high enough. If he was in the sage realm, it would be easy for him to break the innate level 7 array. However, he could not do it now. However, Qin Feng did not panic. Instead, there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Using the power of an array to deal with a demigod array master like him was not something to be proud of. He inhaled and exhaled the chaotic heavenly abode power hidden deep in the endless void. His body suddenly changed, and like a speck of dust, he entered the center of the array at lightning speed. As he stepped out, the vast armor-piercing green light disappeared like a stream of light. The next moment, he suddenly appeared near the divine tree. "What's wrong with you?" The quasi-sage's expression changed drastically when he saw Qin Feng suddenly appear. A trace of disbelief remained on his green face. "What's wrong? Are you surprised? Your innate level 7 wood elemental array is powerful, but in my opinion, it's full of loopholes." This was a thought. The moment this thought appeared, Qin Feng's figure appeared. His expression was cold as he channeled the power of the chaotic wood tribulation. Along with the heavenly abode power, it entered the divine tree like a torrent. In Qin Feng's perception, the power of the divine tree was like a boundless ocean of green wood. However, in the center of this ocean, there was a source that controlled the divine tree. This source was the quasi-sage. Qin Feng's goal was to kill this quasi-sage and completely seize control of the divine tree. The boundless heavenly abode power directly broke through the boundless green wood elemental power and suddenly appeared in the center of the divine tree. It landed on the quasi-sage and made him dizzy. The quasi-sage was caught off guard. His face was covered in dust, and his green eyes were red. He roared angrily. "Damn you little bastard! Although I don't know how you avoided the attack of the array, how dare you come here to fight with me for control of the divine tree? You're courting death." He mobilized the boundless wood elemental power in the divine tree and began to counterattack Qin Feng. Qin Feng wanted to refine him, so why couldn't he use the power of the divine tree to refine Qin Feng? The heavenly abode power that was injected was surrounded by the power of the divine tree and compressed inch by inch. It was in danger of being refined. The quasi-sage's eyes were filled with bone-chilling murderous intent as he sneered. This divine tree had always been the inheritance treasure of Withered Pine City. It had long been controlled by their faction. It was simply wishful thinking for a mere martial arts expert to fight with him for control of the divine tree. Even if he had a medium-sized heavenly abode as a trump card, it wouldn't be enough. This kind of competition was a competition of the quality of true power. Regarding this, he had a strong sense of self-confidence. A quasi-sage at the sun god level had experienced 3 major tribulations. His heavenly abode power had long reached the pure yang immortal realm. However, this confidence soon turned into fear. An earth-shattering scream rang out. What level of heavenly abode power is this? How can it refine my sun god level pure yang heavenly abode power? Qin Feng continued to receive support from the primal chaos heavenly abode. Dense heavenly abode power spread out and destroyed the pure yang true power. Under his silvery white heavenly abode power, the pure yang heavenly abode power was like an egg meeting a rock. It was easily shattered and devoured. Deep in the core of the divine tree, Master Ashen Pine's face was drained of color. A trace of disbelief remained in his eyes. He tried his best to mobilize the divine tree's power in an attempt to turn the situation around with absolute power. However, this only delayed his destruction by a little bit. Qin Feng didn't show any joy or anger. His sleeve, which was stuck to the divine tree, fluttered. His heavenly abode power, which was comparable to the Emperor's qi, roared like a tsunami. The divine tree Yuan qi was shattered inch by inch and refined by him. His heavenly abode power was like a vast river of stars that flooded the quasi-sage Master Ashen Pine. Amidst Master Ashen Pine's furious roar, a shock wave shattered Master Ashen Pine's soul. Qin Feng then grabbed an ancient tree that was dozens of meters tall from the god tree. Indistinctly, there was a trace of unwilling wail lingering around this peculiar-looking cloud pine, making up for yesterday's update. Chapter 683. What a tall and beautiful old pine tree! Qin Feng laughed as he looked at the tree in front of him. The curly cloud pine was a top-grade earth spirit root. After cultivating under the old pine tree for thousands of years, it had already broken through its limits and could be considered a top-grade heaven spirit root. This pine tree was the best for tempering one's spirit. Under this kind of ancient tree, one's cultivation would be twice the result with half the effort. He grabbed the 100-meter-tall curly cloud pine tree and pulled it into his grotto heaven. Qin Feng's gaze landed on the divine tree in front of him. This divine tree was the real deal. However, before that, he couldn't let go of the others. He controlled the power of this green tree and controlled the connate array formation on behalf of Master Ashen Pine, combining the power of the grotto heaven with the power of the array formation. Boom! The entire city was uprooted. What's going on? Why is the city flying? What's going on? The demons of Withered Pine City, who had just settled down, exclaimed. This is, from afar, Chang Qin and the other astral soldiers were dumbfounded. The entire Withered Pine City was flying. In front of the origin light mirror in Shaoyang Village, many village masters were stunned. It wasn't rare to see people attacking demon cities and using divine abilities to destroy demon cities. However, this was the first time they saw someone taking the city and its people away. He actually broke the connate array formation of Withered Pine City? Did you see clearly what he did just now? It's the power of grotto heaven. Look at how majestic and surging that power is. It's probably at the level of a medium-sized grotto heaven. Yanfeng licked his dry lips and couldn't hide his surprise. It was the power of a medium-sized grotto heaven. As far as he knew, only the demon-subduing Heavenly King had a medium-sized grotto heaven in the entire savage battlefield. Grotto Heaven management was different from cultivating divine abilities. It was similar to Yanfeng. He had a high position in the savage battlefield and was a sage. However, he had only advanced his Grotto Heaven to the 3rd level of the minor Grotto Heaven, the 6th level of the new Grotto Heaven. The 6th level of the minor Grotto Heaven was refined to perfection. It was the same for the minor Grotto Heaven. The 6th level of the minor Grotto Heaven was quickly upgraded to a medium-sized Grotto Heaven. Now, it would be extremely difficult for him to cultivate to the 3rd level of minor Grotto Heaven. To be able to attain its current status, the paradise had devoured countless spiritual objects and captured countless demons to pray to. Every year, it would also invest a huge amount of orbs of will. However, the operation of the Grotto Heaven was too complicated. I wonder how that Qin Feng managed to get his hands on a medium-sized heavenly abode. Flames danced in Yanfeng's eyes. He actually has a medium-sized Grotto Heaven. No wonder he is so powerful. No wonder he's so fierce, completely trapping that quasi-sage. The group of fort masters were all shaken. A medium-sized heavenly abode was something that could only be encountered by chance, but not sought after. To be able to completely control a medium-sized heavenly abode was an even more astonishing fortuitous encounter. Everyone knew that in the entire wasteland battlefield, only the demon-subduing Heavenly King was rumored to have cultivated a medium-sized Grotto Heaven. But who was the demon-vanquishing Heavenly King? This was the supreme will of Xingqian's school. Under his will, even the most powerful saints and rulers would have to submit to him. He was a living epic, a legend. Look, Withered Pine City has been uprooted by him. This brat is taking advantage of every opportunity. Others were just plundering, but he took away the entire city. This can't be helped. Grotto Heavens are divided into different grades. Newborn Grotto Heavens are extremely fragile. Only small Grotto Heavens can take in living creatures and nurture vitality. As for medium-sized Grotto Heavens, they possess extraordinary abilities and can easily plunder cities. Some second-rate sects can have a medium-sized Grotto Heaven, which can be passed down for thousands of years. Many fort masters were extremely envious. The stronger the Grotto Heaven, the higher the status of a creator. After reaching the realm of a martial Dao expert, there was only one way to speed up one's cultivation, and that was to work hard on the crystalline Grotto Heavens. We've struck it rich this time. This Withered Pine City is a place where wood-type demons gather. Who knows how many monsters with spiritual roots have taken human form? A fort master's tone was sour. I'm afraid the most precious item is still that quasi-god's spiritual root. Most of the fort masters placed their attention on that 100,000-year-old swaying green tree. A quasi-god's spiritual root. It was too coveted. A heaven-ranked spiritual root was a rare commodity. Not to mention a quasi-god swaying green tree. Don't be envious. No matter how envious you are, you won't be able to break that quasi-god spiritual root's connate formation. Golden Star Luwudao laughed. Everyone, don't be envious. As a disciple stationed at the boorish wasteland battlefront, there will be plenty of opportunities for us to attack cities and seize territories in the future. As for this Grottomaster's harvest, he can eat meat, but you can eat soup too. As everyone knows, one spiritual root of the same type is enough. More than one spiritual root is of limited use to the Grottomaster. Our Xingqian school has a place to exchange spiritual root. I believe that after this battle, Junior Qin Feng will make his move very soon. Hearing this, many of the fort masters laughed. Luwudao's words were exactly what everyone wanted to hear. Rumble. Qin Feng opened his Grotto Heaven like a taotai. The entire sky seemed to be swallowed in one gulp. Qin Feng also didn't abstain from meat or vegetables. Using his cultivation method, the massive power of the Grotto Heaven transformed into the 5 elements annihilation true thunder. Except for the wood-type demons, everyone else was killed. Only a few experts above the level of martial arts overlord were spared. They were completely sealed and became prisoners. Qin Feng did not have the energy to deal with these people for the time being. These people all controlled the origin, and their wills were as tough as steel. It was extremely difficult to convert them. If things went wrong, they might even cause trouble in the grotto heaven. He might as well seal their cultivation like the Golden Butterfly Empress and lock them up. He could slowly deal with them in the future. Rumble. The green tree that was like a world tree was absorbed into the heavenly abode along with the power of the heavenly abode. As soon as it landed, Qin Feng felt a change. An aura of evergreen trees was integrated into the grotto heaven. Abundant energy rushed into the crystal wall system, and the entire chaotic grotto heaven's volume skyrocketed by 30%. The second level of the medium-sized grotto heaven. A mysterious power flowed into Qin Feng's mind. Countless mysterious changes in the grotto heaven flowed into the depths of his true soul like water. Countless grand auras related to the void laws flowed into the depths of his true soul, and he comprehended them. His true soul underwent an indescribable change, as if it had been injected with chicken blood. It expanded rapidly like a stream of light. It gradually turned from a blurry shadow to a real one, like a shadow engraved in the depths of the void. 2/3 of the innate yin qi that surrounded his true soul was instantly absorbed by his true soul. His entire true soul exuded a divine aura of extreme yin. This was a supreme being who was about to ascend to the second level. He was just a little bit away from transforming his true soul into a yin spirit. Although he had not fully exerted himself, Qin Feng felt that he was several times stronger than before. As his divine thoughts flowed, the void laws became more vigorous. The power of the grotto heaven that he could mobilize was 2 to 3 times more than before. He had a feeling that killing a sage-to-be would be as easy as blowing off dust. The entire black hole changed and turned back into a human form. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng appeared in front of Chang Qin and the others. At the same time, in Ice Silk City, the leader of the 100 Barbarian Fort, who was waiting for an opportunity to ambush Qin Feng, received a piece of news. He actually has a medium-sized grotto heaven. Chiemo clenched his teeth so hard that they almost broke. There was also a deep sense of fear, and his heart was beating violently. Chapter 684. Chiemo gnashed his teeth. It was undeniable that Qin Feng possessed the power of a medium heavenly abode, which made him feel shocked and even more afraid. But soon, greed appeared in his eyes. But so what if you have the power of a medium heavenly abode? You're just an ordinary martial Dao expert. At most, you can use 1% of the power of a medium heavenly abode. This is an opportunity bestowed to me by the heavens. His fierce eyes flickered with a ferocious red light. If he could obtain a medium heavenly abode, he would be able to reach the Saint Dao realm in no time. From Qin Feng, he saw a fortuitous encounter. A mere martial Dao expert possessing a medium heavenly abode was like a child causing trouble with gold. Qin Feng, you're courting death this time. He laughed sinisterly. His figure was like a black light that went straight into the void, deep into an unfathomable place. In the sky above Withered Pine City. Go. There are still some spirit roots around Withered Leaf City. Half spirit roots should be useful to you. Take as many as you can. We'll go to Ice Silkworm City in an hour. A faint voice was heard. Many astral soldiers and astral generals seemed to have woken up from a dream. They rushed out of the ruins of Withered Pine City. Although the entire Withered Pine City had been taken away by Qin Feng, there were still many ancient trees that had become spirits in the periphery. The most precious ones were the real spirit roots that emitted spiritual light. After an hour, Qin Feng saw many astral soldiers and astral generals running back with spirit roots in high spirit. Chongqing and the 10 commanders were also smiling. Obviously, they had gained something. With a wave of his sleeve, Qin Feng led the astral soldiers and astral generals. 2 hours later, he arrived in front of a city built in the darkness of thousands of rivers. This was a city of black ice. Countless cold air seemed to be emitted from the ground. The surroundings were lush and ancient trees, primitive and boundless. It was like walking through ice and snow. In the distance, a chilly wind that was cold to the bone blew. Some of the astral soldiers with low cultivation couldn't help but shiver. Looking up, they saw a boundless world with only a gust of black wind wreaking havoc. Even the sky was gloomy and dark clouds covered the moon. Chongqing's expression turned solemn as he looked at the majestic demon city filled with demon qi. General, this is Ice Silkworm City. According to the information provided by the Shaoyang stronghold, there is a Yin wind cave here that spews out extremely dark winds all year round. Many silkworms live here, and the strongest is a snow silkworm king. It is said that it has cultivated for thousands of years and has extremely powerful ice element abilities. It once froze 3,000 miles with one strike. Don't worry, I'll go and communicate with the silkworm. If he's willing to submit to our Xingqian school, then so be it. If he dares to say no, then I'll raze this city to the ground. Qin Feng waved his hand and signaled with his eyes. His figure flashed and disappeared above the void. When the chest was half full, a figure appeared in the sky above the Iceworm City's city lord's mansion. Someone's here. How dare you, human? Who gave you the guts? Who are you? Who dares to trespass into the city governor's estate? Could it be that you're tired of living? One by one, the demon race experts rushed out of the city with murderous intent. Their attacks were extremely ruthless, and several black tornadoes that resembled black dragons broke through the city. There were many demon race magnates among them. A bunch of shrimp soldiers and crab generals. Qin Feng glanced over. The void froze and the black tornadoes froze. All the demon race experts that were rushing over, including a few demon race magnates, suddenly stopped in the void. Even their ferocious expressions had not dissipated yet. Who are you? In the city governor's estate, dozens of surging demon qi rushed out and vaguely trapped Qin Feng. The leader was dressed like a king, and his eyes were extremely cold as he stared at Qin Feng. This snow silkworm king was very strong. He was a peak pre-saint, a half-step saint. Qin Feng glanced around. Other than that, there were 3 to 4 unparalleled almighties and 10 martial Dao almighties as well. The lineup was luxurious. The surrounding void was distorted and shattered by the dozens of terrifying demon qi. There was a terrifying feeling of chaos descending. Qin Feng said, I'm Qin Feng and your Snow Silkworm King. Now I'll give you a choice. Submit to my Xingqian school. Of course, you can also cooperate with my Xingqian school, sign a star contract, and join my alliance of stars. Xingqian school was very strong, but they were very tolerant. They probably didn't advocate anger, but cooperation. Pfft, my king, is this kid crazy? A mere martial Dao almighty dares to behave so atrociously here? My king, there's no need to talk to this madman. Just tear him apart. His flesh and blood contain vitality, which is extremely beneficial for the growth of our children. Yeah, who does he think he is? How dare he behave so presumptuously in our ice silkworm city? These humans deserve to die. The people of Xingqian school especially deserve to die. The silkworm race elder's eyes were gloomy. Snow Silkworm King was about to nod. Qin Feng shook his head and formed a seal with both hands. A huge, sacred mountain that was hundreds of miles wide slammed down from the sky. Boom! Chongqing and the other astral soldiers and astral generals saw a huge mountain appear out of thin air above Ice Silkworm City. The next moment the entire ground shook. By the time they came back to their senses, everyone was in a daze. The entire Ice Silkworm City was gone. It was completely flattened. I'm going to kill you! More than 30 towering demonic chi rushed out of the ruins and madly attacked Qin Feng. Clearly, although the power condensed by the Earth God Mountain was strong, it couldn't crush the group of demon race elders or even Snow Silkworm King. Qin Feng sneered. A huge amount of heavenly abode power rushed out like a rolling river and met the dozen or so silkworm race experts head-on. Bang! 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 It was like beans exploding. Layers of thick demonic chi were penetrated, and countless pieces of flesh and blood were completely pulverized. Boom! A figure flew backward like a stream of light. Within the stream of light, a small black crystal shield glowed with a cold light. Snow Silkworm King's face was aghast. She couldn't care less about her disheveled hair and blood-stained royal robe. She turned around and fled, her face incomparably glad. This small shield was called the Black Ice Shield, a defensive pseudo-true artifact. It was refined from the cold iron of Ice Silkworm City that had been collected for hundreds of years under the Ice Silkworm City for 10,000 years. It was shaped like a protective shield with a dragon head at the top. Those who weren't proficient in ice laws couldn't use it. When using it, the user would be behind the shield and use Ice True Force to propel forward. The dragon mouth and eyes would emit a cold light that froze everything. Moreover, it also had outstanding defensive power. If it weren't for this small shield blocking the attack, she and those elders would probably have ended up the same way. Even so, the Yao Dan was still shaken by the attack and was almost shattered. Damned beast, I don't know where this expert came from, but he actually pretended to be an ordinary martial artist and massacred my Ice Silkworm City. When this king returns to the Demon God Temple, I'll definitely invite the living fossils of my race to pull out his tendons and skin him alive. I'll leave his soul in the cold wind underground for tens of millions of years to dispel this hatred. Thinking about the Ice Silkworm City that was flattened in one blow, Snow Silkworm King's heart was in pain. Her face was distorted, and her hatred and resentment were tangible. Snow Silkworm King, where do you think you're going? However, in the next moment, the void was suddenly torn apart. A figure sneered and shot out a palm that broke through the void. A force that was enough to shatter the sky suddenly appeared in front of Snow Silkworm King's chest. Snow Silkworm King was shocked. She poured all of her demonic chi into the black ice shield in her hand, wanting to block it. Gotcha! There was the sound of glass shattering. In her fear, the black ice shield instantly shattered. In the next moment, the force penetrated Snow Silkworm King and turned her into powder in an instant. Chapter 685. He killed the Ice Silkworm King in one strike. Qin Feng left in a flash. Chang Qin and the 10 commanders led a group of astral soldiers and astral generals as they rushed down and began searching the ruins. Although the Ice Silkworm City had been razed to the ground by Qin Feng, there were still some good things left. Qin Feng didn't care about them. To the 10 commanders and even some astral soldiers and astral generals, they were treasures that couldn't be bought with money. When Qin Feng broke through the third demon city, Lian Biun and Gongsun Jinyang had each taken a giant city. The Golden Light Demon Kingdom had 31 giant cities, each of which was the hub of the surrounding demon cities. What did you say? Qin Feng has a medium-sized grotto heaven? Banners stood in great numbers. Lian Biun's emerald armor set off her enchanting figure. Her beautiful face was like a peach blossom, and her hair was tied up in a bun. Her valiant appearance couldn't hide her charm. Behind him, the few sages were shocked, and they could not conceal their emotions. Lian Biun looked at the silver-armored general in front of her and said, "Help me thank the person who sent me the news. Junior sister, what do you plan to do?" A middle-aged expert with black hair looked at Lian Biun. "We're still too slow. Let's speed up the siege. We don't have to worry about the future. I'll have to trouble the 3 senior brothers to destroy the city and reach the Golden Light Demon capital as soon as possible." "Okay." The 3 saints nodded. In front of Purple Een City, black smoke rose from the broken city. Countless foreign races charged out and fought with the experts of Xingqian's school. Occasionally, there would be experts using their peerless abilities to kill the demon expert. Screams became the main theme here. Jinyang, we've just received news that Lianbiun has already conquered Mountain Grave City. The experts of the 9 En larvae race have all been killed by the 3 saints of Wood Battle. A saint from Heart Moon Peak said with a smile. That Lianbiun is the most successful junior sister of Wood Battle, so it's not surprising that she invited the 3 saints of Wood Battle. However, we, the 5 saints of Willow Earth, are not to be trifled with. After saying that, he smiled slightly and glanced at the 4 majestic sages behind him. Fellow junior brothers and junior sisters, it seems like we have to make our move. Of course. Junior sister Gongsun is headmaster's favorite. If we lose this match, he might get angry and we'll be in for a lot of fun. Gongsun Jinyang narrowed her eyes. Senior martial brother Zhang Han, what are you saying? Headmaster has always treated everyone equally. Don't blame junior martial sister for going to master's side and complaining about you. Don't, junior sister. Look at how much we're helping you. The black-robed saint begged for mercy. The other 4 saints laughed and shook their heads. Gongsun Jinyang waved the long sword in her hand and killed a demon expert who was soaring into the sky several miles away. He snorted and said to the green-robed disciple in front of him, "What else?" The 7th Army, White Wolf Mountain's Mountain Master Yang Qin, broke through the 3rd Demon City. The 9th Army, West Ancient Mount Hua Mountain's Mountain Master Yin Wanyan, also broke through the 3rd Demon City. Cave Master Qin Feng of Hidden Wave Cave also broke through the 3rd Demon City. They're about to attack the 1st Demon City. Hey, Qin Feng of Hidden Wave Cave is also so fast. I know White Wolf Mountain's Mountain Master Yang Qin. He's a disciple of Kuemu Peak. He invited Kuemu Peak's True Lord of Beasts. I know True Lord of Beasts' abilities, so it's not surprising that he helped him break through the 3rd Demon City. Zhang Han's gaze was strange. The 9th Army is under Yin Wanyan, West Ancient Mount Hua Mountain's Mountain Master Yin Wanyan. Yin Wanyan came from Zhen Shui Peak, one of the 28 peaks. Zhen Shui Peak has been relatively low-key these years, but I know Yin Wanyan is the best of the Zhen Shui Peak. Although not all 3 of the Zhen Shui Peak's sages were invited, it shouldn't be a problem to send one of them. According to me, Yin Wanyan is related to True Lord Twilight of the Zhen Shui Peak's 3 sages. What ability does Qin Feng have? How did he catch up with us? Another sage of Willow Earth Peak, True Lord Shui Yun, nodded. I've heard of Qin Feng. He has no background and no backing. He even chose Niu Jinfeng, the main peak with few sages. He shouldn't have any reinforcements, the green-robed disciple said. Reporting to the Mountain Master and True Lords, according to the speculation of the Mountain Masters, Qin Feng might have obtained a middle-sized grotto heaven left behind from the ancient times. A middle-sized grotto heaven left behind from the ancient times? The sage's expressions changed. As everyone knew, a middle-sized grotto heaven was not common, but it was not rare. The key was to be recognized by the grotto heaven. Unless the original grotto heaven's reincarnation, it was basically impossible. True Lord Zhendi of Willow Earth Peak raised his head and said, "Junior Sister Gongsun, it seems that we have to speed up," Gongsun Jinyang said. "Then I'll have to trouble senior brothers and sisters. They're all stimulated." In Shaoyang Village, many mountain masters were watching the fire from the other side of the river. The 11 teams moved forward rapidly. Simple construction was difficult, but destruction was much easier. The sages of the 11 teams moved together, and each of them could move mountains and seas. It was not difficult to destroy a city. In Golden Light Demon Capital, the majestic demon palace shook like thunder, and the atmosphere was gloomy. With a flat imperial crown on his head and a dragon robe on his body, Golden Light Demon Lord pointed at the 12 messengers who came in one after another with a gloomy expression. He was so angry that he could not speak. Your Majesty, please take note of this. The 12 armies are attacking the cities, and we've suffered heavy casualties. 7 or 8 cities have already fallen. Especially their strongest army, the Middle Army, they've already taken down 4 cities. The messengers' foreheads were covered in sweat. Trash, you're all trash. What's the point of me raising you? It's only been a day, and you've all come here to ask for help. You can't even last a day. Golden Light Demon Lord was furious. Your Majesty, the leaders have done their best. This time, Xingqian School is serious. They've sent many sages to attack the city. Your Majesty, even if we had 9 lives, we wouldn't be enough to kill them. This was a powerful demon lord from the 9 Lives Cat clan. He was sweating profusely. Thinking of the power of the sages, his legs went soft. They had condensed the Saint Path, and with one strike, they had flattened the entire city. Your Majesty, what should we do? In the palace, many experts of the Golden Light Glazed 3-realm butterfly were shocked. Hearing that the sages had attacked, Golden Light Demon Lord no longer had the intention to teach these messengers a lesson. They've sent sages. It seems that Xingqian School is really going to war with our ancestral temple. He paced back and forth in the Golden Palace. After a while, he raised his head and gave orders to the powerful demon lords in the palace. Immediately send people to the other countries to ask for help. At the same time, send people to the ancestral temple to ask the living fossils of the various clans to kill the enemies. After that, a sinister smile flashed across his face. I'm going to delay them for a while and kill those sages. The rest is up to you. Chapter 686. Let's speed up. General, if you want to compete for the position of the chief, you have to speed up. Chang Qin suddenly said. Qin Feng glanced sideways at this resolute young man with a face of approval. General, don't be surprised. Although Chang Qin's cultivation is not good, I have a lot of family knowledge. I also know some good friends in the village. Just now, my good friends in the village sent me a message. The saints have made their move. After pondering for a while, Qin Feng's eyes flickered. The saints have made their move. It seems that we have to speed up too. Those below the saints were ants. The saints had already survived more than 3 major tribulations. The power of the Saint Path Law was terrifying. In a year, the void was destroyed. Qin Feng did not forget the extraordinary means that the Sea Demon Queen had displayed when she fought with him. If she had not been careless and been dragged into the Chaos Grotto Heaven by him, he might not have been able to suppress this queen. Let's speed up too. As he spoke, he looked at the star soldiers, star generals, and even Chang Qin. How about this? I'll go first. You guys follow me. Chang Qin, the 10 commanders, and even the star soldiers and star generals opened their mouth. Was he going to shake them off and start attacking the city alone? However, after thinking about it carefully, the star soldiers and star generals could not help but feel a little ashamed. Along the way, other than plundering, they did not seem to be of any use. Snow Frost City. This was a huge city. The scale of this huge city was obviously much larger than the previous few big cities. Dense demonic aura in the city soared into the sky, shaking the clouds. The various small demons were much more formal. Wearing battle armor, they were full of energy, and each of them had a murderous look in their eyes. They were obviously elite soldiers who had been fighting for a long time. Tens of thousands of demon soldiers separated and joined together. The embryonic form of a huge battle formation could be vaguely seen. In a world of ice and snow they gathered together. A gust of cold air swept over, and even the void was faintly covered with a layer of frost. At a glance, one could tell that it was difficult to deal with. Qin Feng did not mind and chuckled. His figure flew to Snow Frost City. With a glance, Qin Feng immediately knew the strength of the city lord of Snow Frost City. A saint, this was a minor demon saint. His main body was a six-winged frost centipede. Under his command, a large group of poisonous centipede. At this moment, it was obviously not going to continue smashing. Unless he took out the chaotic mountain. However, the chaotic mountain was currently suppressing the Siren Queen, that restless calamity. However, Qin Feng soon had an idea. He had cultivated many mystical abilities. In terms of destruction, other than the 5 divine mountains, there were naturally the 5 elements annihilation true thunder art and the 5 chaos disasters. As for the Daluo Godseal sword art, it was useful in a one-on-one battle, but it wasn't very satisfying to use it in a situation like this. After thinking for a while, Qin Feng had an idea. With a flick of his sleeve, countless 5 elements annihilation true thunders appeared like raindrop. In his previous life, Qin Feng was an expert in using lightning arts. He was a lightning Dao demigod. Now that he was using lightning arts, his destructive power was even stronger. Rumble! Thousands of lightning bolts struck down. Lightning filled the sky like raindrop. The extremely destructive 5 elements annihilation true thunder instantly destroyed more than half of Snow Frost City. When the second round of lightning struck, the entire Snow Frost City was reduced to rubble. Who did it? It's him. That human 2-legged goat. Kill him, skin him, and pull out his tendons. In a fit of exasperation, a group of Snow Frost demon puppets, who had luckily escaped with their lives, charged forward with bloodshot eyes. Die! Qin Feng formed a Grotto Heaven seal and slammed it heavily toward the group of demon race mighty figures. Bang! 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 The Grotto Heaven seal was like a divine mountain that slammed heavily into the hearts of the demons. Poochie! Many demon race experts were smashed into meat patties on the spot. Even some supreme demon kings had their bodies disintegrated on the spot. Oh no, he's too strong. This is a power that surpasses that of a sage. Run. Go back and ask for reinforcements. Kill this bastard. Run. Some of the demon race mighty figures who had lost their bodies roared. The surviving demon race experts in the sky were so frightened that they trembled. They all covered their heads and fled like rats. Quite loyal. Qin Feng glanced over. The void within hundreds of miles instantly froze, and the next moment, the void trembled. Bang! 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 The remaining demon race experts exploded like bombs. Their bodies turned into blood mists in the void. Ah, my clansmen! Be *starred, I'll kill you! With a violent roar, an old man with disheveled hair charged out. Cold light illuminated heaven and earth as he struck Qin Feng. Boom! His body was dazzling with silver light like a divine weapon that shattered the ice laws. He formed a Grotto Heaven seal, and a huge world bloomed with endless light. It appeared with a loud bang and crashed into the old man. Bam! The old man was sent flying. An ice armor that emitted endless cold light appeared on his body. A true artifact. This was an ice-type extreme cold battle armor. Ice laws, 1,000 miles of ice seal. He charged out and his hair danced wildly in the air. His old face was filled with murderous intent. He struck out a ray of ice laws that looked like a poisonous dragon. The cold light froze the void for hundreds of miles. Qin Feng's body tore through the void and charged out. He formed a Grotto Heaven seal once again. Grotto Heaven seal, universal suppression. Silver light shot out from his body. In an instant, he formed a Grotto Heaven again and slammed it onto the old man's body. Crack! The huge force penetrated the Frost Demon Overlord and shattered the extreme cold battle armor on his body. Under the power of a medium-sized Grotto Heaven, even a true artifact could only block 2 attacks at most. The Frost Demon Overlord spat out a mouthful of blood mist. The poisonous blood mist corroded the void and created countless void holes. However, he did not care. His eyes were filled with madness as he activated a supreme demonic technique. A towering divine light that was filled with cold light suddenly appeared. Ice laws, 10,000 miles of ice seal. He struck out with his palm, and a divine light shot across heaven and earth. It was like a divine sword that tore through Qin Feng's body. Qin Feng was cleaved in half. The extremely cold power froze the two halves of his body, preventing Qin Feng from being reborn. Qin Feng was furious. He activated the power of a medium-sized grotto heaven, shattered the ice, and reassembled his true body. His true body reassembled, and a huge black lotus platform appeared under his feet. He stepped on the lotus platform, and his body appeared again. It was a huge world. Grotto Heaven Seal, Chaos Sword. The massive world transformed into a chaotic longsword. Qin Feng roared, and his hair fluttered in the wind. He roared and slashed at the Frost Snow Demon Sage's body. Boom! The Frost Demon Overlord and the void within dozens of miles were instantly cleaved in half. A huge black rift that could be seen with the naked eye appeared. The Frost Demon Overlord was cleaved to death on the spot. Even his Sage Dao Demon core was shattered. He used the Grotto Heaven as a sword. His control of the Grotto Heaven has actually reached such a level. In Shaoyang Village, the village masters were shocked when they saw the ferocious scene through the essence light mirror. Some of the village masters felt a chill run down their spines. The consequences of being cleaved by such a sword were simply, it was obvious from the spatial rift that had been cleaved open. Even a sage had been cleaved to death. After cleaving the Frost Demon Overlord to death, Qin Feng snorted coldly. He kept the Chaos Sword that the Chaos Grotto Heaven had transformed into and flew forward. He rushed to the next demon city without stopping. At this moment, hundreds of miles away, Ling Yongwei and the three Divine Might sect experts, who were full of confidence earlier, felt their hearts turn cold when they saw that earth-shattering sword strike. A chill ran from their buttocks to their heads. The three of them had lingering fear. Chapter 687. No, this isn't something we can participate in. The three supremacies of the Divine Might sect trembled in fear. That sword strike had killed a lesser demon saint. The three of them were only quasi-sages. That's right, let's leave this matter to junior sister. Another quasi-sage's forehead was covered in cold sweat. If the three of them rushed forward, they wouldn't even be able to survive a single sword strike. That's right, that's the Xian family's matter. Xian Zhiyang's son died and he isn't even worried. We shouldn't overstep our boundaries. The remaining quasi-saint chuckled dryly. Supremacy Jingyang is right. After all, this Qin Feng is from the Xingqian school. If we act rashly, it might cause a conflict between the two sects. The three of them exchanged glances as they spoke, and then they suddenly charged into the depths of the boundless void and vanished. This Ling Yongwei was tongue-tied as he watched the three supremacies of the Divine Might sect leave in a hurry. That was a high and mighty quasi-sage. Even in the Divine Might sect, one of the 10 great sects, they were high and mighty. They were in charge of the lives of tens of thousands of disciples. They were actually so scared. Could it be that this Qin Feng is really that strong? Ling Yongwei felt discouraged. This realization made him feel despair. The current Qin Feng is already comparable to those self-proclaimed ancient prodigies. In the Shaoyang stronghold, many stronghold masters sighed. I heard that in recent years, the inheritors of the ancient powers have appeared in the 99 prefectures. Each of them has shocking strength, but from the looks of it, Qin Feng isn't any weaker than those ancient prodigies. Yes, I heard that the last crown prince of the ancient Li Fire dynasty appeared in the eastern spirit region of the Qiankuan sect. That crown prince killed a sage as a mere martial Dao expert. At that time, I still found it unbelievable. The great era is coming, and the great calamity is coming. I heard from the elders of the sect that the providence of heaven and earth is falling, and the tide of providence is forming. After 10,000 years, a divine throne has appeared. I think those ancient prodigies must have sensed this and broke out of their seals. I also heard that the Qiankuan sect spent a lot of effort to capture this ancient prodigy, but he still managed to escape. Once this person grows up, he will inevitably come back for revenge. The emergence of these ancient prodigies is too much of a shock to us. They need territory, luck, and spiritual items to recover their strength. It's inevitable that they need to change the original structure of the 99 continents. I heard that many of the 800 unorthodox groups are already in the midst of a storm and could be destroyed at any time. That's right. Our school is facing a huge impact. If we can't seize 1 or 2 deity positions, our Xingqian school's tens of thousands of years of foundation will be in danger of being destroyed. As the fort masters discussed among themselves, their impression of Qin Feng improved greatly. Geniuses were always valued because they could shelter the sect from the wind and rain at critical moments and even preserve the sect's legacy. The 3 fort masters had worried looks in their eyes. With the emergence of some ancient geniuses, the Xingqian school was greatly impacted. Many ancient prodigies had some noble bloodlines, or perhaps he was the son of a godfiend. The speed of their growth was not something that ordinary prodigies could compare to. I reckon that among the new disciples, other than the 2 hidden by the sect, only Wang Daoi, Yi Ding, Xinxiu, Pan Wu, and Qin Feng have a chance to compete with the ancient paragons. As for the rest, if these prodigies can withstand the first wave of the Great Era's descent, perhaps the remaining prodigies will have a chance to grow and withstand the second wave of the Great Era's descent. The 3 fort masters looked at each other and sighed. The 4th city was called Luonet City. Countless spider demons resided there. The demon king leading them was a celestial fire-earth demon spider. It was a quasi-sage demon king. Unfortunately, it couldn't withstand a flaming mountain. With just one attack, the entire spider web of the celestial fire-earth demon city was reduced to ashes. The celestial fire-earth demon spider managed to escape and wanted to turn into a flaming rainbow to escape. However, Qin Feng rushed forward and formed a grotto heaven seal. The entire grotto heaven seal transformed into a chaotic mountain and crushed it to death. After destroying the Luonet city, Qin Feng didn't leave immediately. Instead, he searched through the place. These mutated spiders and the clam race were both major pearl-producing races among the demon race. They produced all kinds of pearls. Qin Feng searched carefully. As expected, he obtained close to 100 pearls. These pearls were all translucent and emitted spiritual light. They were all valuable treasures. The most precious one was the celestial fire-earth pearl that the demon king nurtured. If this kind of treasure was polished well, it might be possible to refine a few sets of pseudo-true artifact. Qin Feng didn't like it, but he still kept it as a family asset. Black light flashed. At the 5th stage, Qin Feng stopped in his tracks. This was a huge city. It was filled with ancient peach trees. Each of them was taller than a 1,000-year-old tree. This was a rare peach tree, the purple-green spirit peach. The purple and green qi in the spirit peach had incredible uses. Even martial arts giants flocked to it. An ordinary purple-green spirit peach was the fruit of a 1,000-year-old divine peach tree. It bloomed once every 30 years, bore fruit another 30 years, and ripened another 30 years. Looking at the peach trees that covered the mountains, Qin Feng thought of a big force. Jade Lake. In the ancient era, the Jade Lake sacred ground appeared. The Jade Lake Queen's prestige shook the world. At that time, she had invited the 3 ancient emperors and even the 5 emperors of the 5 Desolaces to a banquet. The Jade Lake sacred ground's treasure was a peach tree. The immortality peach divine fruit. A immortality peach divine fruit. Even if a mortal ate it, they would have a lifespan of 10,000 years. Other than the immortality peach divine fruit, the Jade Lake also had many peach tree roots in the world. In the future, Qin Feng was lucky enough to see the Jade Lake ruins. The style of the layout was very similar to the city in front of him. The same feeling. At this moment, in the city lord's mansion, a charming girl in pink raised her head. Her charming eyes revealed a trace of surprise. In the next moment, she appeared in front of Qin Feng silently. At this moment, Qin Feng raised his head and looked at the void. The girl in pink appeared in the next moment. A stage 2 Supreme Almighty. Qin Feng revealed a look of surprise. He could feel that although the girl in front of him was only a Supreme Almighty, she gave him a feeling that she was more dangerous than those quasi-sages. But in the next moment, this curiosity disappeared. Without a sound, a ball of flames appeared in Qin Feng's hand. The rolling flames were like a spiral. The pink-clothed girl sized up Qin Feng, and her eyebrows slowly tightened. Very strong. You're the one who destroyed Withered Pine City, Ice Silkworm City, Snowfrost City, and Luolan City? The girl in pink frowned. Qin Feng's eyes were indifferent. His gaze seemed to penetrate the void and saw the countless creatures in the city. He said lightly, "That's right. Miss, you should be the owner of this Wanling City. I see that your demonic aura is pure. Although you're from the demon clan, you haven't harmed humans. Take your people and leave." Chapter 688. The pink-clothed girl kept sizing up Qin Feng. She ignored Qin Feng's words and looked at Qin Feng with her beautiful eyes. "You seem to have Yin Jiucheng's aura? Did you steal Yin Jiucheng's milk powder? It smells like earth core spiritual milk." Qin Feng frowned. The pink-clothed girl narrowed her eyes. "Oh, you might not know his true identity. He is the son of the previous mountain demon god. He should be gestating in the mystic realm set up by his father, the mountain devil god." Mountain demon god? Qin Feng thought of the unlucky guy who plundered in the earth god's secret realm. Qin Feng came back to his senses. "You are a self-proclaimed expert from the ancient times?" The pink-clothed girl smiled mysteriously. "Yes and no. But I have to remind you, Yin Jiucheng is a petty guy with a bad temper." Qin Feng sneered. "So what? With my current strength, do you think he is a match for me?" The pink-clothed girl raised her eyebrows and looked at Qin Feng again. "Oh, I didn't expect you to create a medium-sized grotto heaven. Yes, although Yin Jiucheng inherited his father's secret realm, it's still a medium-sized grotto heaven. It can't do anything to you. But how many spiritual roots do you have in your grotto heaven? Let me see, there is a mutated gourd root, a top fire-type spiritual root, flint wood, the dragon clan's sacred tree, the dragon blood ancient tree, and the metal origin ancient tree, the desolate sago tree. Sigh, there is even a life-type spiritual root, the divine tree of life, and a void-type divine spiritual root, the chaotic ancient tree. And there are so many top-grade spiritual roots." The pink-clothed girl's eyes shone brightly. Qin Feng's intuition was completely seen through by the girl's eyes. Qin Feng's expression turned ugly. He summoned the power of his grotto heaven, and an immeasurable amount of light shrouded his body in an attempt to block her gaze. The pink-clothed girl smiled sweetly. "Little brother, you are still hiding things in front of your big sister. Your grotto heaven is not bad. Since you want to destroy Big Sister's house, Big Sister will borrow your grotto heaven." After saying that, the young girl's figure flashed and appeared in front of Qin Feng in an instant. Qin Feng's expression changed, and he wanted to block it. However, what shocked him was that the heavenly abode true force of the extreme grade 4 and above suddenly froze. A fragrant scent like orchids and musk wafted into his ears. "Little brother, it's useless. Although the quality of your heavenly paradise true power is still alright, it's still not enough in front of your big sister." Speaking of which, it was strange. This young lady was clearly only at the unparalleled almighty realm, but Qin Feng was almost unable to resist her. Rumble. She pointed a finger at Qin Feng's glabella, and the cold and soft sensation caused Qin Feng to have goosebumps all over his body. Qin Feng's expression changed abruptly, and his body was unable to move. He tried his best to summon the grotto heaven, but the grotto heaven seemed to have been completely separated from him in an instant. There was no connection. "Little brother, don't be so stingy. You're going to smash my house, so I can only stay in your house." A charming smile flashed across her beautiful face. She turned around and waved her sleeves. The entire Wanling city suddenly disappeared, as if it had disappeared into thin air. Qin Feng's expression changed greatly. Old monster. This was definitely not some unparalleled, almighty realm. She must be an old monster that had been here for 10,000 years. Even an ordinary Earth realm sage did not have this kind of ability to take over a city. "Humph, little brother, I'm not an old monster. I'm still in my prime." The demoness poked Qin Feng's glabella with her finger. Qin Feng only felt as if several mountains had bombarded his glabella. His mind was buzzing and the world was shaking. Qin Feng saw stars. The demoness snorted charmingly. Her figure was like a pink light. Regardless of whether Qin Feng was willing or not, she easily found the location of Qin Feng's grotto heaven and entered Qin Feng's grotto heaven. There were towering mountains, rivers that stretched for thousands of miles, vast grasslands, and spiritual herb gardens that were as rich as a sea of flowers. Sure enough, it's a good place to hide people. Humph, it's not a grievance for me to live here. It just so happens that the Wanling city has been exposed recently. The demoness stretched her waist, and her infinitely beautiful curves were suddenly revealed. A natural charm that she had tried her best to restrain spread out. Poochie poochie. Countless males in the grotto heaven had nosebleeds. There's actually such a beautiful woman in this world? Even the Siren Queen could not help but be dazed. But after a while, the seductive feeling disappeared. The Siren Queen looked at her carefully. Although this seductive woman was beautiful, she was not as beautiful as before. She was so beautiful that she could shake the heavens and earth. "Who is this woman?" The Siren Queen frowned. There's a siren under the mountain. She's quite beautiful." The demoness appeared in a flash and looked around. The Siren Queen stiffened. Qin Feng reacted at this moment. "Demoness, come out." Qin Feng was furious. He activated the power of the grotto heaven, and a huge Genesis altar appeared under his feet. A huge force appeared, and it was about to suppress the demoness. "Humph, little brother, don't be like this. Do you know that this servant can live in your house because you won't be able to cultivate for 10 lifetimes? Do you know how many demon gods begged this servant in ancient times, but this servant wasn't even willing to look them in the eye?" With the power of the grotto heaven suppressing her, the demoness seemed to see it as a spring breeze. With a wave of her hand, a fan appeared in her hand. With her hands on her waist and the fan fanning, she looked like an elegant lady who had walked out of a classical painting. Even the angry Qin Feng was momentarily dazed. Suddenly, her beautiful eyes fell on Qin Feng's Genesis altar, and a trace of surprise flashed across her eyes. This altar is... Demoness, what are you trying to do?" Qin Feng knew that this demoness was very powerful, and it was impossible to expel her. Naturally, he was even more unwilling to let her discover some secrets. The Genesis altar was instantly put away. This altar seems to be able to enhance the control and use of the grotto heaven. It also seems to have a very mysterious power that can communicate with the endless power of the void. With just a glance, the demoness saw some key things. In fact, even if a martial artist opened up a grotto heaven, the degree of control they had over the grotto heaven was not very high. It was like parents who created their children. They could influence and guide their children, but they could not completely control them. It was the same for grotto heaven. However, the altar created by Qin Feng seemed to be able to completely control the grotto heaven. To completely control a grotto heaven, this was undoubtedly an unimaginable benefit for the creator. This is an excellent idea. This kind of secret technique has never appeared in this world. What an interesting little brother! The demoness chuckled as she looked at the vigilant Qin Feng. Croak, croak, brother Feng, is this your harem? The sound of wings flapping could be heard as Lord Ba flew over from the horizon with the sky-tearing beast. The demoness raised her eyebrows and instantly landed on Lord Ba. A strange look flashed across her eyes, and her expression changed slightly. She snorted heavily and waved her fan. Croak, croak. You actually sneak attacked Lord Ba. Lord Ba cried out and tried his best to dodge. However, he was still blown to the horizon by the pink whirlwind. *tch, you actually sneak attacked me. A scream came from afar. Qin Feng frowned, but he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Although this *tch was blown to the horizon, she was not injured. However, Qin Feng still could not help but glare at this demoness who refused to leave the grotto heaven. Chapter 689. Living in my grotto heaven, using my spiritual root and beating my pet. If not for the fact that he knew he couldn't defeat the demoness, Qin Feng would have exploded long ago. Demoness, when my cultivation level rises, I'll do you 100 times, 100 times, humph. He gritted his teeth. The demoness didn't notice Qin Feng's cursing. In a flash, she appeared above the spring of life. Glancing at the sapling of the divine tree of life, her beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of reminiscence. Then, her gaze fell on the spring. Finally, I can take a bath. With a flash, he disappeared into the spring of life. Qin Feng almost cursed out loud. How could the demoness use the spring of life as a place to take a bath? Resisting the urge to strangle the demoness to death, Qin Feng was about to step forward. Suddenly, the demoness appeared in the spring. Little brother, it's not good to peek at a beautiful sister taking a bath. A jade-like hand suddenly appeared and pressed on Qin Feng's body. Boom! As if hit by a cannonball, Qin Feng was instantly blasted out of the grotto heaven. You really treat my grotto heaven as your own home. Qin Feng's face was covered in dust and he looked indignant. It was the first time he met such a difficult demoness. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. I'll let you stay here for now. Sooner or later, I'll subdue you. With hatred in his heart, Qin Feng checked the grotto heaven again. To his relief, the connection between the grotto heaven was restored. But to his dismay, there was a place that seemed to be completely isolated. That was the place where the spring of life was located. He glanced at the Wanling city. Qin Feng's face was gloomy. The sixth demon city, Red Flame City, was a demon city built on the crater of a volcano. The residents were all fire-attributed demons. Qin Feng's heart was burning with anger. He was about to rush forward and destroy Red Flame City when a voice came from the grotto heaven. Little brother, there's fire in your heart. Big sister is kind enough to remind you that the Scarlet Flame Demon Monarch isn't that strong. However, there is an extremely powerful true treasure here called the Fire Universe Furnace. This is a Xiantian true treasure. Once you fall into this true treasure, even your medium-sized heavenly grotto might not be able to withstand it. Innate true weapon. Qin Feng's face paled. Above the false true treasures, there were 3 levels of true treasures: an Hotian true weapon, a mid-heaven true treasure, an innate true weapon. Above it was the eternal true weapon. Innate true weapons were different from ordinary true weapons in that they had a trace of innate indestructible spirit light. The Thousand Leaves Water God Black Lotus was an innate true weapon, a peak innate true weapon. A true treasure with a complete innate undying spirit light was an eternal true treasure. Xiantian true weapons were extremely precious. They were born from the Xiantian and possessed the power to destroy the world. If there was a Xiantian true weapon here, he might not be able to protect himself even if he had a medium-sized heavenly abode. Why is there a fire elemental innate true weapon here? Qin Feng's eyes flickered intensely. Innate true weapons were extremely precious. Little brother, I advise you not to think about it. This is a container for a little guy to sleep in. If you wake up the little guy inside, I'm afraid it will swallow you whole. By then, my sister will be homeless again. The lazy voice of the demoness drifted over, causing Qin Feng to grit his teeth in anger. My name is Qin Feng, not little brother. The demonic woman ignored Qin Feng's anger and ridiculed him. Little brother, I advise you not to make too much noise. Otherwise, if the Scarlet Flame Demon King activates the Fire Universe Furnace, you will have to bear the consequences. Qin Feng snorted inwardly. In a flash, he appeared in the Scarlet Flame City. In the Scarlet Flame City, the streets were spacious. Countless fire elemental demons and mutants came to play. They were human-shaped experts who were taller than ordinary people. Their bodies emitted a fire elemental aura. They were the Scarlet Spirit race of the desolate wilderness. This race was born to be good at cultivating fire elemental technique. In the City Lord Mansion, there was a pure fire elemental aura that soared into the sky. Vaguely, the fire elemental law soared into the sky. It was vast and mighty like a fire elemental pillar. Boundary Sage. Qin Feng squinted his eyes. On the side, there were countless fire elemental auras surrounded by many experts. It would be extremely difficult to decapitate them. Little brother, it seems like it will be very difficult for you to pass through this Scarlet Flame City. Why don't you beg me? The demonic woman's teasing voice came from the winter. Qin Feng scanned with his divine sense, and almost had a nosebleed. This demonic woman was only wearing a tube top and soaking in the spiritual spring of life. It was snow-white, shining like a flower. Look there! A chill grew in the heavenly abode. Qin Feng's soul was almost frozen. His true soul refined the chill inch by inch. Qin Feng found that his true soul had refined another trace of innate Yin Qi. He was only a step away from the Yin Master realm. After a long time, Qin Feng regained his senses. I don't need to beg you. Killing a mere fire elemental boundary sage is not difficult for me, Qin Feng. Gritting his teeth, Qin Feng suppressed a ball of fire in his heart. He gritted his teeth and entered the Scarlet Flame City. He revolved his true soul and spread it out in all directions. Since he couldn't attack, he would just decapitate them. Once he killed the Scarlet Flame Demon King, the Scarlet Flame City would collapse. This aura. The demonic woman had been paying attention to Qin Feng. Seeing Qin Feng's actions, she couldn't help but squint her beautiful eyes. This was the second time she was surprised. For thousands of years, ever since she woke up, the number of times her state of mind had fluctuated was comparable to the previous thousands of years. With her experience, she could naturally see the profoundness of this demonic heart force. It was almost impossible to guard against. The slightest carelessness would infect and erode one's state of mind. This method is similar to the supreme techniques of the ancient Zen sect. However, they are polar opposites. If one can see through it, one's state of mind will be greatly tempered. This little guy is quite strange to have comprehended such a method. Fortunately, his strength isn't strong. If he can comprehend to the state where the demonic heart won't die, he will be invincible. Even the demon gods will have a hard time killing him. The demonic woman muttered in her heart. Her beautiful eyes flickered, and she felt that she had made the right choice in choosing Qin Feng. It didn't take long for him to obtain the information he wanted. It's actually a demon king formed by the Earth Fiend's spiritual fire. Qin Feng's expression was strange. It was extremely difficult for a spiritual fire to take form. Since the Crimson Flame Monarch was formed by a spiritual fire, he was naturally extremely powerful. According to the information, the Crimson Flame Demon King was often in seclusion. There were very few people who could come into contact with him. They were all his trusted aides. There were only 4 of them. They were the Fire Spirit Demon Concubine Hua Mei'er, the Crimson Dragon King Aoyen, the Crimson Ling of Gojoseon Ha Lei, and the Heaven Fire Sparrow King Feng Jiotian. Among them, the Fire Spirit Demon Concubine was the closest. She was also a demon king born from a spiritual fire. She was of the same race as the Crimson Flame Demon King. It was rumored in Crimson Flame City that the Fire Spirit Demon Concubine was the Crimson Flame Demon King's Tao companion. The Crimson Dragon King was an underground Crimson Flood Dragon. The Crimson Ling of Gojoseon was the king of the Crimson Spirit race. He had gathered a few fire dragon snakes and was very powerful. The Heaven Fire Sparrow King was the king of the Fire Sparrow race. It was rumored that he had awakened a trace of the Heaven Fire Sparrow bloodline of the primordial true spirit and controlled a heaven-ranked divine fire. The Crimson Flame Demon King trusted these 4 people. Qin Feng decided to make a move on these 4 demons first. After making up his mind, Qin Feng directly went to the Fire Spirit Demon Concubine's residence. The Fire Spirit Demon Concubine opened a cave abode under the volcano. She breathed in fire energy and cultivated in the cave abode. Occasionally, she would get people to send some food in to enjoy. This place was heavily guarded and surrounded by countless small demons. However, it wasn't a problem for Qin Feng. With the corrosive ability of the Heart Demon, Qin Feng entered the Fire Spirit Demon residence in an extremely short period of time. He tore open the void and directly entered the demon residence. Qin Feng saw a demoness sitting on a throne. She was using the spiritual fire to refine a demon core. "Who are you?" Seeing Qin Feng suddenly appear, a trace of shock flashed across the demoness' face. In the next moment, she was drowned by a vast heavenly insight energy. Chapter 690. In the main hall, Qin Feng's face was gloomy. The demoness was overjoyed. "Little brother, this is your way of turning into a woman? You're too funny." "I'll say it again. I'm not a little brother. I'm Qin Feng." Qin Feng gritted his teeth as the veins on his forehead bulged. He looked helpless. He was indeed a little weird. The fire spirit which had always been loose and wore less. Therefore, he had no choice but to wear less after turning into the fire spirit witch. But this made the demoness happy. "Lady Witch, you're fine. What happened?" Outside, some fire demons sensed the huge energy fluctuation in the fire spirit demon abode and rushed in. Suppressing the anger in his heart, Qin Feng glared at the group of fire demons and said coldly, "I'm fine. All of you get out." Many fire demon experts looked at the demon abode and heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that there was no movement. They sensed the hostility in the fire spirit witch's tone and couldn't help but show fear. The fire spirit which was formed from a ball of evil fire. She was born with a bad temper and was cruel. Some fire demons were often swallowed alive by her. Many fire demon experts were afraid of her. After chasing away the group of fire demon experts, Qin Feng immediately left the fire spirit demon abode. "Little brother, I didn't expect you to be so feminine when you walk. Oh right, when you seduce the Scarlet Flame Demon King, I have to learn from you." He could hear the demoness' unbridled teasing in his ears. Qin Feng pulled a long face and looked like he didn't want anyone to get close to him. There were experts who wanted to talk to him, but when they saw Qin Feng's expression, they immediately stopped. The Scarlet Flame Demon King's seclusion was deep in the volcano. The deeper he went, the thicker the fire spirit chi. When he reached the middle of the volcano, Qin Feng felt that the fire spirit chi in the void was so thick that it was liquid. Qin Feng was very careful. Qin Feng saw the fire universe furnace. It was a huge furnace that seemed to have filled up the entire bottomless volcano. Red fire spiritual energy was being emitted from the furnace, and it was extremely frightening. The temperature of the flames was so high that even Qin Feng's 8 desolation immortal body was unable to withstand it. He might as well circulate the primal chaos flame tribulation. his entire being transformed into a clump of raging flames, endlessly devouring the boundless fire spirits. The heavenly abode true force in Qin Feng's body skyrocketed. Seizing the opportunity, Qin Feng channeled a portion of fire element spiritual energy into the Genesis sacrificial altar, using a secret technique to refine and fuse it with the top-grade fire element spiritual root, the flint wood. The golden spiritual root that was growing in the flames, the tree trunk that was over 100 feet tall, was expanding rapidly. Seeing this, the demoness shook her head. Pouring the fire spirit into the flint wood like this is a great waste. This flint wood will grow with your heavenly abode. You don't need to do this at all. This flint wood is not the hibiscus divine wood. No matter how much you pour it, it won't be able to breed a son. Don't waste your energy. I have my own uses. Qin Feng snorted and circulated the primal chaos flame tribulation. He turned the fire god that was being nurtured into a clump of fire and injected it into the flint wood. This fire god was the foundation of the primal chaos flame tribulation. Once it entered the flint wood, it immediately merged with the flint wood and borrowed the fire of the flint wood to cultivate. This is a wonderful idea. Using the spiritual root to help you cultivate the divine ability, and the divine ability can also nourish the spiritual root. They complement each other. The beautiful eyes of the demoness brightened. Qin Feng's method of cultivating innate techniques caused her to feel refreshed and enlightened. Ignorant. This is wonderful. Even more wonderful is yet to come. Qin Feng snorted. His body merged with the power of the primal chaos flame and was gradually transforming. This was the method of the 8 Desolation immortal mystic technique. Borrowing the power of heaven and earth to refine one's true body. The power of fire was also a kind of power of heaven and earth. The 8 Desolation immortal mystic technique had reached the stage of not dying from a drop of blood. The next step was to make one's true body indestructible. Not fearing the destruction of any power of heaven and earth, Deshang would be truly indestructible. His body would not be easily split open. Not dying from a drop of blood might seem very powerful, but for example, the Frost Demon Overlord, it was very easy to kill him after his body was split open and sealed in ice. Inch by inch, the flames fused into his flesh, tempering his flesh and skin. Qin Feng felt a pain as if he was being sliced into pieces. Inch by inch, his skin melted. His flesh and skin seemed to emit a layer of fiery light, rapidly regenerating in the midst of destruction. Isn't this the 8 Desolation indestructible heaven scroll of that barbarian from the eastern wilderness? The demoness was shocked. She knew the changes in Qin Feng's body better than anyone else. The circulating aura left a deep impression on her. After taking a closer look, the demoness shook her head. No. This aura seems to be the same, but it's not. It looks like an incomplete version. He's really stupid. He changed a good mythical cultivation technique into a dubious one. That's not right. According to that barbarian's rules, doesn't he only find one successor in every generation? I clearly feel that his successor has already appeared. What's wrong with this little guy? Her beautiful eyes moved, and a strange look flashed across them. Forget it, I don't care. That barbarian from the eastern wilderness caused me a lot of trouble back then. This time, I'll teach him a lesson. With a strange smile, a stream of light appeared in her eyes. She casually pointed at it, and a stream of divine light suddenly entered Qin Feng's body. Qin Feng felt his body tremble. The 8 Desolation indestructible body underwent a mysterious and indescribable change. Countless amounts of heavenly insight energy revolved and turned into strange runes that emitted a primitive aura. They were carved into his flesh, bones, and meridians inch by inch. With the appearance of these runes, the surface of his body's absorption of fire spiritual energy increased by more than 10 times. The fire spiritual energy entered his body like a clay ox entering the sea. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng saw his flesh and blood undergo an unknown change. In an instant, it turned from solid to illusory and turned into a pure ball of fire. This was a ball of fire that emitted the aura of countless disasters. He could vaguely see countless terrifying scenes, such as volcanic eruptions, fire falling from the sky, a sea of fire in the human world, the descent of purgatory, and other extremely terrifying scenes. Qin Feng was extremely shocked. This kind of change was something he had never imagined. The 8 desolation indestructible mystic art that he cultivated in his previous life did not have such a change. However, Qin Feng clearly felt that this change was the correct one. If he cultivated according to the original change, it would be a crooked way and he would take the wrong path. How can there be such a change? Could it be that the goddess of luck has favored me and allowed me to suddenly have an epiphany and comprehend the true essence of the 8 desolation indestructible mystic art? He muttered in his heart. Qin Feng now felt like he was a natural king in the fire. He had never been in such a good state before. At this moment, if Qin Feng said that he was not a manifestation of spiritual fire, no one would believe him. In an instant, it seemed that the real fire was attracted and mobilized. It was the source of the fire. The chaotic fire grand magic was like an extension of his body and was compatible with his soul. Although he did not know what was going on, Qin Feng knew that this was definitely a good thing. Well, since I've already cultivated it, I'll just call it the 8 extreme divine transformation. Unknowingly, Qin Feng appeared at the entrance of the Red Fire Mansion. Madam! Seeing the fire spirit enchantress appear, the 2 powerhouses of the fire demon clan hurriedly bowed. Catching up on yesterday's update. Chapter 691. Madam, the king is in seclusion. Do you need something? The 2 fire demons lowered their heads and flattered her. They were also fire spirits born from the earthly fiend flames. They were considered the Scarlet Flame Demon King and Fire Spirit Beauty's clansmen, so they had a higher status. If it was someone else who was so long-winded, the Fire Spirit Beauty would have slapped them away. All right, move aside. I have something to talk to the king about. The Scarlet Flame Demon King hid in the Fire Palace all year long, trying to refine the Fire Universe true treasure. No one knew about this except for the Fire Spirit Beauty. Others only thought that the Scarlet Flame Demon King was cultivating in seclusion and was a cultivation maniac. The 2 fire demons didn't dare to stop Qin Feng as he walked into the Fire Palace. The Fire Palace was completely golden red. The entire Fire Palace was built in a volcano. It was made from the extremely precious fire spirit essence gold collected from the fire veins. It was shining with dense fire energy. It was very grand and majestic. Qin Feng walked in and saw the Scarlet Flame Demon King in the main hall. He was an extremely tall demon king. His body was burning with a faint golden light. He wore a fishtail crown and his face was as red as dates. He had red hair and a red beard. He had 3 eyes and wore a red flame robe. There was a red lamp on his shoulder. He spat out balls of fire from his mouth. There were 12 pearls in front of him, emitting extremely dense fire energy. Each pearl was like a big sun, emitting a heavy power. This was the Scarlet Flame Demon King's treasure, the 12 Chongming Flame Pearls. They were made from the countless spiritual fire energy collected from the earth veins. Each pearl had the power to burn mountains and boil seas. The Scarlet Flame Demon King had obtained a secret technique. Each of the 12 Chongming Flame Pearls was refined into a new fire elemental grotto heaven. Each of the 12 pearls was equivalent to the power of a mountain. Once smashed, even a saint would be turned into a meat patty. My king, your treasure is getting more and more amazing. If you can refine a heavenly spirit seal, it will become an acquired true treasure soon. Madam, you flatter me. It's still too early. I've spent decades refining these 12 pearls, and the strongest one is only 65 layers of earth fiend restriction. It's still far from being able to combine 72 layers of Earth Fiend restriction into a Heaven Star. The Red Flame Demon King wasn't surprised by the Fire Spirit Witch's arrival. He wasn't on guard. The Fire Spirit Beauty was known as one of the Four Kings, but she was actually his Tao companion. He channeled his lifeblood flame and formed countless seals. Rolling fire chi interweaved in his hands and transformed into Earth Fiend runes to replenish the 12 Chongming Lian pearls. Above his cave dwelling, a cauldron wall gave off a gush of golden-red fire chi. He guided it down and refined it into the Chongming Lian pearls. This demon monarch is quite smart. He knows that if a Kane true treasure like the Fire Universe Cauldron doesn't recognize its master, he won't be able to refine it. I might as well use the power of the Fire Universe Furnace to refine my own true artifact. With this thought in mind, Qin Feng approached with light steps, his killing intent concealed. "My king, let me lend you a hand." "Good, it's great that Madame has such intentions." The Scarlet Flame Demon King chuckled. "It's over, this idiot is dead for sure." Seeing that the Scarlet Flame Demon King didn't see through Qin Feng's identity, the demoness shook her head. However, the Scarlet Flame Demon King couldn't be blamed. Qin Feng's innate divine ability was simply too miraculous. After the transformation, even the aura of the soul was imitated to perfection. In addition to Qin Feng's primal Chaos Star incantation, it was truly impossible to tell at first glance. Qin Feng chuckled. With a turn of the year, the heavenly insight energy transformed into the Fire Spirit True Force. Surging flames shrouded the 12 Chongming Lian pearls with his seals. Complicated and cryptic runes flew out from his hands and transformed into runes that seeped into the 12 Chongming Lian pearls. In an instant, an Earth Fiend seal on one of the pearls was completed and it advanced to the 66th level. Impressive, I didn't expect Madame to have such a high level of understanding in the art of seals and formations. The Scarlet Flame Demon King's eyes lit up. The impressive part is yet to come. Qin Feng sneered in his mind. Waves of extremely mysterious fire elemental seals were formed by him. Seizing the opportunity, the heavenly insight energy started to seep into the 12 Chongming Lian pearls silently. The 12 Chongming Lian pearls were of extremely high quality. If they could be refined properly, it might be possible to turn them into a set of fire elemental true weapons. Qin Feng was naturally very attentive to his own treasures. With his eyes flashing, Qin Feng moved his head and a pearl flew out. Qianyuan Earthfire Pearl? The Scarlet Flame Demon King widened his eyes and looked at the pearl that flew out from Qin Feng's head in surprise. I didn't expect Madame to have such a fire elemental treasure. That Luolan City's city lord, old monster Qianhua, also has such a precious pearl. I've asked for it many times and even took out the heaven-class spiritual root, Red Essence Fire Tree to exchange with him. However, that old monster treated it like his life and was unwilling to exchange it. How did Madame have such a treasure? How come I didn't know at all? The Scarlet Flame Demon King stared at Qin Feng with bright eyes. His 3 red magma-like eyes were filled with suspicion, greed, and anger. Qin Feng sneered in his heart and said with a smile on his face, "Don't worry, Your Majesty. Ever since I learned that Your Majesty needed a fire elemental spirit pearl, I just remembered that I came across an ancient cave mansion before I transformed. There was a Qianyuan Earthfire Pearl in that ancient cave mansion. This time, I specially took it to refine a treasure for Your Majesty." The Scarlet Flame Demon King's anger turned into joy. "Haha, Madame is so considerate. Since that's the case, Madame, quickly do it and integrate this treasure into the Chongming Lian pearls. With this fire elemental spirit pearl, this king's Chongming Lian pearls will not be far from advancing to a true weapon." Qin Feng looked indifferent and threw the Qianyuan Earthfire Pearl into the 12 Chongming Lian pearls. Countless lian flames rose into the air and changed according to his hand seals. The Qianyuan Earth Fire Pearl was refined inch by inch. Gradually, the Qianyuan Earth Fire Pearl merged with one of the Chongming Lian Pearls. After merging with the Qianyuan Earth Fire Pearl, the Chongming Lian Pearl's brilliance skyrocketed and a series of Lian seals were formed. The 67th seal, 68th seal, 69th seal, 70th seal, 71st seal, 72nd seal. In the blink of an eye, the 72 Lian seals were completed. Vaguely, a trace of heavenly dipper spirit light was produced from the 72nd seal. As long as this pearl was nurtured for a period of time, it would be able to merge with the earth and fiend and refine it into an Hotian true weapon. Looking at these changes, the Scarlet Flame Demon King could not stop smiling. Good chance. Taking advantage of the moment when the Crimson Flame Beast King's mind was fluctuating, Qin Feng's figure instantly disappeared. The majestic heavenly abode energy turned into a huge black hole, instantly sucking the Crimson Flame Beast King, who was immersed in joy and defenseless, into the chaos heavenly abode. Whether it was intentional or just a coincidence, the Scarlet Flame Demon King fell toward the demonic woman's bathing place. The demonic woman, who was soaking in the heavenly spring of life, instantly sensed it. With a light snort, the Scarlet Flame Demon King, who was about to fall from the sky, silently exploded and turned into a cloud of blood mist. Qin Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. A quasi-sage great demon king couldn't even withstand a light snort from the demonic woman. Qin Feng could see that the Scarlet Flame Demon King was completely dead. Even his soul had been obliterated. Stinky brat, trying to play tricks with your sister. The demonic woman's angry voice sounded in his ears. Qin Feng's figure instantly sank into the fire vein, as if he was carrying a mountain on his back. He was battered and exhausted. Chapter 692. Damned Demoness! Qin Feng rushed out of the fire vein with disheveled hair. He wanted to find trouble with the Demoness, but he was powerless. His gaze landed on the 12 Chongming Inferno Pearls. One of them had already completed 72 earthly fiend seals. As long as it was nurtured well, it would become a fire-type true artifact. The rarest thing was that these pearls were a set. If they were all upgraded to true artifacts and formed into a set of arrays, their value would increase by several levels. Qin Feng opened his mouth and inhaled. The 12 Chongming Inferno Pearls were swallowed into his stomach like 12 streams of fire. He slowly nurtured them with his heavenly abode energy. What's going on? My king, what's going on inside? Sensing the violent energy fluctuations coming from the fire manor, some of the leading fire demons rushed over. Qin Feng's expression changed as he transformed into the Scarlet Flame Demon King. He opened his mouth and scolded the 2 fire demon guards who had just entered. What are you panicking for? What can happen to me in my own cave abode? The 2 fire demon guards couldn't raise their heads after being scolded. They could only rub their heads and quickly retreat. Seeing that he had fooled the 3 guards, Qin Feng's gaze landed on the fire universe furnace above his head. He was a little envious. However, Qin Feng knew that this fire-type true artifact already had an owner. Although the Demoness was unruly and domineering, she wouldn't lie to him. Qin Feng had also used the Qiankuan astronomical phenomenon to predict good or bad luck. If he didn't use this fire universe furnace, it would be a sign of great fortune. But if he used it, it would be a sign of great misfortune. Before leaving, Qin Feng also searched the fire manor. Unfortunately, he didn't get much. Qin Feng knew that the Scarlet Flame Demon King and the others had hidden their treasures in their own heavenly abodes. He didn't have the ability to directly tear apart their heavenly abodes and take out their treasures. He felt a little regretful and decisively left. After transforming into the Red Flame Demon King, Qin Feng started to visit the experts in the city one by one. He tricked and killed the Red Dragon King, the Red Ling of Gojoseon, and the Heaven Fire Sparrow King. The three demon kings were also almighty experts who had cultivated their own divinities, but they were still assassinated by Qin Feng without knowing what was going on. After getting rid of the three archfiend kings, Qin Feng immediately began to take action. It changed in the void and formed hand seals, summoning a flaming mountain. With a loud bang, the flaming mountain slammed heavily into Red Flame City. Countless monsters and non-humans had died unnatural death. Even the martial arts giants were smashed to death. In just one move, the entire Red Flame City was almost flattened. His strength has improved. Qin Feng could clearly sense the change. Qin Feng had successfully cultivated the new 8 extreme divine transformation from the 8 desolation indestructible heavenly scripture. Qin Feng's understanding of fire was like a carp leaping through the dragon gate. In the past, the martial arts might not have been able to kill him, but now it was impossible. The flaming mountain was surrounded by countless flames. As Qin Feng's understanding of the fire law increased, it could easily burn a martial arts giant to death. Roar, who's doing this? Above us, it's a human expert. Let's fight with him. Fight my ass. Let's scatter and escape. We'll come back and take revenge on him. 7 or 8 streams of light shot up into the sky from the ruins. A few of the Almighties charged toward Qin Feng without any regard for their lives, but most of them rushed in all directions. You still want to take revenge? You're courting death. Qin Feng glanced over. The space within a few hundred miles had silently solidified. The expressions of the 8 Almighties froze on their faces. They couldn't move at all in the void. Qin Feng finished his cultivation, and a wave of void vibrations swept over like a tidal wave. Bang bang bang! One after another, the 8 Almighties of the demon clan were instantly killed. Even their souls were shattered and their vitality was wiped out. Another demon city has been destroyed. Including Crimson Flame City, Qin Feng has destroyed a total of 6 ordinary demon cities and 1 giant city. He's ranked in the top 3. Shaoyang Stockade. Many stockade masters sighed as they witnessed Qin Feng's progress. Mercury's Ren Zhonghong exclaimed. The most remarkable thing is that he's been relying on himself since the beginning. Ren Zhonghong's eyes were filled with regret. It's a pity that he's alone. He can't compare to junior sister Lian Biyun and junior sister Gongsun. Junior sister Lian Biyun has already conquered 7 ordinary demon cities and 2 giant cities. Mars Yen Feng glanced at his old rival and shook his head. That's true. The position of Stockade Master of Peach Blossom Stockade not only tests one's cultivation, but also one's foundation and whether one can stabilize the position. There are exceptions to everything. If one has absolute strength, no one would dare to gossip. Lu Wudao said calmly. He's almost there. Ren Zhonghong said slowly. Although this junior brother has a medium-sized grotto heaven, he's only stronger than an ordinary saint. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for a single saint to take down a giant city. But I don't know how he managed to destroy Crimson Flame City. There's a terrifying innate true weapon suppressing the city. According to our calculations, he shouldn't be able to kill Crimson Flame Demon King, right? He voiced the thoughts of many stockade masters in the stockade. Crimson Flame Stockade has the interference of the innate true weapon and our origin light mirror can't pass through. This Qin Feng must have some special trump card. Many stockade masters speculated. Many people coveted the innate true weapon in Crimson Flame City, but the stockade masters knew that it was a fat piece of meat that could only be looked at but not touched. It seems that junior sister Gongsun has the highest chance of becoming stockade master of Peach Blossom Stockade. From the current situation, that's indeed the case. Junior sister Gongsun has the Willow Earth 5 saints and many other friends supporting her in the dark. Junior sister Gongsun is a beauty that can topple cities, and she has many friends. The experts of Willow Earth Peak are constantly opening a path for her. Right now, they are already in front of the third city, Myriad Flower City. This is the last city where many flower demons gather. Once we break through this city, we will be able to reach the Golden Light Demon capital. However, I'm afraid this giant city won't be breached in a short time. The Golden Light Fey Kingdom, and even some of the surrounding Fey Kingdoms have reacted. Although most of the Fey Sage experts have been blocked by their allies, there are still many who have rushed over. This Myriad Flower City isn't easy to deal with. Stockade Master, you're the disciple of 100 Flower Demon Empress and have many strong reinforcements. Brother Lu is right. That 100 Flower Demon Empress is a famous ancient saint. More importantly, she's known as one of the top 10 beauties of the Spirit Sea realm. This title alone will attract many experts. Speaking of 100 Flower Demon Empress, many Stockade Masters had a look of reminiscence. The 3 stars looked at each other. 100 Flower Demon Empress was an expert from the same era as their master, demon-subduing Heavenly King. Rumor has it that even demon-subduing Heavenly King was one of her pursuers. The second giant city, Earth Pole City. In the air, Qin Feng remembered the second giant city marked on the map. This second giant city was different from the first one, Snow Frost City. I think that after such a long time, the people of the Golden Light Demon capital should have completely realized that there are at least 2 saints guarding this Earth Extremity City. Qin Feng frowned. With his current strength, he could easily deal with 1 saint, but if there were 2, it would be a draw at most. If there were 3, he would be the one being hunted. Chapter 693. Just as he was pondering, a message came from the bottom of his heart. He found the Kunlun spiritual ruins? Qin Feng's expression changed, and he stopped the thought of rushing to the Earth Pole City immediately. He turned around and directly tore through the void. In just an hour, he appeared at the side of an ancient demon city. Golden Light Demon Metropolis. Golden Light Demon Metropolis was filled with demon aura. The aura of countless experts was like a pillar of clouds that soared into the sky. With just a glance from afar, Qin Feng was shocked. In order to not alarm the experts in the demon metropolis, Qin Feng appeared on a boundless mountain 100 miles away. In just a moment, a scarlet demon aura flew across the sky and landed on the mountain. Scarlet-eyed scorpion greets master. Qin Feng's eyes were calm as he waved his hand. Long story short, what clues are you looking for? Scarlet-eyed Scorpion stood up and asked. Master, after a period of interruption by the 5 of us, we found some clues about ancient Kunlun. Ancient Kunlun is not far from Golden Light Demon Metropolis. In ancient times, it was called Kunlun Spiritual Ruins. It was an ancient sacred ground. However, this sacred ground was destroyed during the ancient Great Divine Demon War. Wei Wei Kunlun was directly cut off and is now called Kunlun Stage. Kunlun Stage? Qin Feng's eyes flashed. His gaze landed on Scarlet-eyed Scorpion. Are there any demon forces nearby? After pondering for a while, Scarlet-eyed Scorpion said, Master, there are no major demon forces near Kunlun spiritual ruins. There are only scattered foreign tribes or demon forces that occupy caves to cultivate. Alright, you can go back. Don't expose yourself for now. Be careful to protect yourself. Thank you, Master. Scarlet-eyed Scorpion nodded. A scarlet light soared into the sky and disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng's figure flashed. Since he had found Kunlun spiritual ruins, Qin Feng decided to make a trip to Kunlun spiritual ruins first. He would be able to obtain the merit black-yellow qi in the end. As for attacking the demon city, Qin Feng was not in a hurry for now. The Golden Light Demon Metropolis had also reacted. The demon city behind them would only be harder to take down. Furthermore, Qin Feng estimated that reinforcements from the other 5 shifter kingdoms would arrive soon. There might even be experts from the demon temple who would be alerted. Instead of fighting to the death, Why not explore the Kunlun spiritual ruins first? Sharpening the axe won't delay the work of chopping wood. With a flash, he tore through the void. A moment later, a figure with surging demonic chi emerged from an old tree. An old face scanned the surroundings. This is really strange. There are clearly abnormal fluctuations of the void being torn apart nearby. A moment later, the old face's eyes lit up. Forget it. Given the current chaos, it's probably some rogue cultivator who came here to take advantage of us. Or maybe it's a spy from Xingqian school. This matter is not under my jurisdiction. The most important thing right now is to catch those perverts who kidnapped our girls. A dark green flame flashed in the eyes of his old face. In an instant, rays of dark green light merged into the surrounding forest and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Kunlun platform. This was the location of the ancient Kunlun. The surrounding dragon spines protruded out and countless dragon veins and spiritual veins converged. Ever since the dragon veins dissipated, this place was no longer as prosperous as it was in ancient times. However, there were still many demons and foreign races residing here. However, with the impending battle of the Golden Light Demon Metropolis, many demons and foreign races sensed the uneasiness and began to retreat into the boundless wilderness. In the void, a figure quietly tore through the void and appeared. Rumble! The sound of demonic chi colliding startled Qin Feng. Qin Feng looked up and saw two groups of people fighting fiercely in the deep ravine below him. You Xingqian school spy, you're courting death. How dare you enter the wilderness to steal the spiritual roots of our race? You're courting death. Kill these humans! It's rare to have their tendons pulled out and skin them alive. Leave the girls as slaves. Following the excited shouts, Qin Feng's footsteps that were about to leave stopped. With a sweep of his divine perception, he saw a group of fire leopard race experts trapping 4 to 5 young men and women. The strength of these fire leopard race experts wasn't ordinary. The leader was a red-haired old man who was a veteran martial Dao overlord. The aura of the origin of fire on his body was obvious. In front of Qin Feng, he was like a torch. There were also dozens of sea reincarnation realm experts left. The strength of the 5 young men and women who were trapped was obviously much weaker. The strongest among them was only at the peak of the sea reincarnation realm. Of the remaining 4, one was only at the miraculous void realm. The 5 young men and women's clothes were all stained with blood. They were battered and exhausted. All of them had suffered heavy injuries. When his gaze landed on the 5 young men and women who were trapped, Qin Feng's expression changed. A hint of surprise flashed across his face. It's actually them? Xuelian, Zhang Xian, Yi Qinghua, Jiang Binger, and Qi Feng only felt that they were very unlucky. This time, they received the mission from All Stars College and came to the wilderness battlefield together. The 5 of them were originally like the others and wanted to make a small profit. In the beginning, with their cultivation, they were doing well. They were like fish in water and obtained many benefits. This time, the 5 of them worked together to take on a mission. In the Kunlun Mountains near the Golden Light Demon Country, there was a place called the Fire Leopard Race's residence. They had to steal the Fire Leopard Race's spiritual root, the ancient fire tree. Originally, the 5 of them had already figured out the strength of the Fire Leopard race. The strongest of the Fire Leopard race was just the Fire Leopard race's patriarch, who had just broken through to the martial Dao overlord realm. The few of them schemed and got rid of the Fire Leopard race's patriarch and obtained the ancient fire tree. They originally thought that this mission would be easily completed. They didn't expect that there would be an old monster in the depths of the Fire Leopard race's territory. In an instant, they were ambushed by this old monster. The strongest, Zhang Xian, was heavily injured. If it wasn't for Zhang Xian fighting against this old monster, everyone present would have died. However, even so, Zhang Xian temporarily lost his ability to fight after being attacked by the Fire Leopard race's patriarch. Hearing the profanities of the fire leopard race's experts, Xuelian, Yi Qinghua, Jiang Binger, and Qi Fang were so angry that their faces turned pale. However, they couldn't help but worry. It was too difficult to deal with an experienced martial Dao overlord. Stay. Looking at your age, you should be some genius disciples of the Xingqian school. How dare you trespass into the wildland? The fire leopard race's patriarch licked his dry lips with his scarlet tongue. His yellowish-brown beast eyes landed on the four girls greedily. The four girls were all beautiful, especially the girl in the white dress who looked like an ice lotus. She was the most beautiful among the four girls. What a heaven-sent beauty! The fire leopard race's patriarch couldn't move his eyes away. Little girl, surrender. If you surrender, I can consider taking you as my concubine and spare your life. Xuelian felt a chill. That extremely filthy gaze made her tremble. She pointed at the fire leopard race's patriarch and cursed. Old bastard, don't even think about it. I'd rather kill myself than let you take advantage of me. Damn it. The fire leopard race's patriarch's face turned purple. You want to do this the hard way? When I catch you, I'll teach you a good lesson. I'll make sure you beg for death. He pounced forward and at the same time, he activated his heavenly insight energy to seal the void. Xuelian, Yi Qinghua, Jiang Binger, and Qi Fang's expressions changed. They felt that they couldn't move at all. They could only watch as the fire leopard race's patriarch pounced forward with a hideous smile. I caught a cold yesterday, so I asked for leave in the group. I'll update 4 times today. If I have enough time, I'll make up for yesterday's mistime. If you don't have a group, you can join the fan group. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.